Evet, İstanbul'daki çok değerli seyircilerimiz, değerli fanlar, değerli arkadaşlar. Heyecan şimdi başlamak üzere. Smash kuralı yakıp yıkabilir ortalığı. Büyük şoklara sebep olabilir.
Our players are ready and so is the stage. And the Smash rule being in play just makes things all the wilder. But before we go to the games, I want to play a little game with the crowd. I want to hype them up a little bit. Bilgehan, do you think that's possible?
Yes, possible.
Okay.
Arkadaşlar, sizlere Sandstorm adlı dünyaca ünlü amatörümüz Davut'un bir isteği var. Sizleri burada ayağa davet ediyor ve sonrasında tamamen heyecan onda. Şampiyon bugün belli oluyor. Bu muhteşem kupanın sahibi birazdan belli olacak arkadaşlar. Smash kuralı ile birlikte heyecan dorukta. Analiz masasında çok değerli arkadaşlarım Gökhan, Yargıç, Tony ve Tankut Hoca var. Sözü onlara bırakalım. Davut.
The games are ready, so are we, and so are the players. So on to the analysts we go.
Well, there you go. A lovely little warm-up for us. Our gladiators have entered the arena, coming into the end of their tournament. Who is going to be making it all the way through? Of course, it is still definitely all to play for, but there is a very clear front runner here, and it's Ulf, right? They are streets ahead of everybody else in terms of the points they've been able to accrue. It's interesting that they've been able to achieve over 60 points a day, so maybe they're going to end up around 180.
It would be a pretty ridiculous margin to get up towards 180. But I think that overall, what I'm looking at the moment is that for Ulf, they might not end on 180 because they might just end the day early. And that's all we're really thinking about today is just Ulf ending the day early, which they certainly could do. It's a massive possibility for them to make it happen in just a few short games, even maybe a couple. But it all starts here on Rondo, which will be the final Rondo we'll be playing of the entirety of PMSL EU this year. Just making it a little bit more grander there. But I think for at least Ulf, this is certainly their opportunity to get 10 points. And I'll be saying this a lot here, and knowing our luck, Ulf will not reach the 10-point margin. I don't believe. I think that it's one of those things where you get into the first match of the day, you know you have a target to set, and teams, I think, really do crumble underneath the pressure of it a lot of times, actually.
Yeah, it's always difficult to achieve those targets as they get set for you. Of course, all setting that target 134. I was just crunching some numbers there. Regnum Kaya. If you extrapolate, just sort of fairly naively, sure, but if you just extrapolate their points earnings over the last 2 days, you sort of expect them to be on 130. I think it's 130, around 136 points at the end of today, which is just over that smash boundary, which, I mean, just goes to show you how unlikely it is that anybody other than Ulf can get that smash victory. We are going to take a look at the smash ruling specifically. Of course, we've been talking a lot about it. Over the last 2 days, Ulf have earned 124 points. That means we add 10 to that score, and that will end up as 134, which will set our smash score target. Now, if any team in the lobby hits that target, so if they get 134 or more after they've been able to achieve that target, if they then subsequently in the next games get a chicken dinner, they will be champions. It doesn't matter if there's more points on the board than you. It doesn't matter if there's more chicken dinners on the board than you. That's the only one that counts if you're able to do it, and it will be a smash victory. Falcons did it last season. Ulf with a big opportunity to do it this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it is not a massive target for Ulf to hit here. As you said multiple times now, the Rondo is a great spot. It's a great map to grab yourself those 10 points. And here will be the maps we're playing today. Rondo, Erangel, Miramar, and finally on Miramar. You can see here yesterday, Ulf were not able to win that second match, but they did win the first one there on Rondo. And I believe it was Kara into Kara once again. A lovely back-to-back coming through from that team, which has set themselves up wonderfully for today to catch up. Now, we've been speaking a lot so far about winning the tournament. However, there is more on the line, including those top 3 spots here for getting into the PMGC Gauntlet stages. There is also the PMGC points rankings to be talking about too, of which teams will be making that in. Right now for Western Europe, Falcons are taking that one. Ulf are, I believe, first place livers for Turkey at least.
Yeah, currently they are in first place. Ulf would be in first place, definitely, above everybody else. And you can see there is a little indication of where our smash point is set at 134. For Ulf, they currently have, of course, earning the points from the previous season under the Fireflux banner. That transferred over to Ulf under this season. They got 125 points last season. And then this season, they've been able to earn 124 already, which means that they're on a total of 249. Regnum Kaya behind them on 208. So they are more than 40 points behind there. And so it's unlikely, unless Regnum Kaya also just beat Ulf in general, then it seems like Ulf are getting that accolade. However, if they qualify in a gauntlet spot at the top 3 here, that point spot gets transferred down. And remember, it doesn't go down the regional points tables. It gets transferred down through the PMSL finals rankings. So if the tables close right now, it would be Jetgo who would get that spot that Ulf have earned in the Turkey region.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one where Jetgo, from a ridiculous turnout of performance in knockout stages, being probably one of the teams that really no one expected to make it this far in the tournament, to suddenly now having a chance at a PMGC points qualification, John? Yeah, very odd.
Yeah, we're taking a look at those scores. You can see 124 to 91. If you extrapolate points earnings over the last 2 days, as I said, Regnum Kaya barely over that smash point, and everyone else even further from it. It will be very, very difficult to achieve that one. Our back page, a couple of disappointments here. I think most notably S2G. Obviously, they closed down both of our days with the chicken dinner. They might not be afforded that opportunity today, though.
Might not be, because we are getting through to the end of the day. 6 matches, lovely, could happen, but easily the smash rule could end everything early. Now, we did see a lot of yesterday you have a step up at the beginning of the day today. I mentioned even after day 1 concluded that momentum might drag them through into day 2. It did not. It absolutely did not. They waited and waited and waited till match 6 on Miramar to pull something out once again. And it is a struggle when right now S2G's map history is Miramar being their most profitable map. Might not be coming around with it being at those final portions of the day.
It's always a little bit of a risk. But as I said before, the fewer teams in the smash point zone, the fewer teams in that smash zone, the less likely it is in general that you see a smash victory. Which means that if I was a betting man, I'd be saying we're going the full 6 today.
I think you'd be right in saying that. I think statistically overall it has been just multiple games, multiple tournaments where we have not seen that smash ruling, and especially with the amount of very, very strong teams here at PMSL EU, it is hard to say that any one team can dominate above the rest. I mean, Ulf has been doing very well, but all things considered, still only 2 chicken dinners over the 12 matches. They're likely to get 1 today if stats are anything to go by, but sometimes they just are not when it comes down to all this pressure on the final day.
It's a lot of pressure to try and bear, but I've been loving the energy of the crowd, and I feel like that is something that really can alleviate a lot of, well, maybe not alleviate, but certainly help elevate you above the nerves that course through your veins. I'm sure for all of these players, it's got to be nerve-wracking. The crowd has got that potent energy. The fans are almost as nervous as they are, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of jubilation earlier on, and they're trying to stay energetic, stay passionate, but there's definitely tribulation in the crowd at the moment. A worrisome atmosphere, put it that way.
It's certainly pretty intense. I mean, Kara yesterday, they had that back-to-back, right? In front of their crowd, in front of their massive groups of fans on the right-hand side of the stands as they look at them. And they have ended the day in third place, but it is a tentative third place. And they do need to keep going. Keep getting more and more and more to stay up in the top 3. Of course, with the regional points transference, it's likely that the top 4 are going to be qualifying in some capacity to PMGC. So 4th place, not the end of the world. And depending on how teams like, how specifically Team Falcons do here as well, it could go all the way down to 5th place here in the PMSL finals in terms of getting a spot. However, 4th and 5th, which would be the maximum number that we'd see from these finals, would be going through to the league stages rather than directly to the gauntlet. Of course, those points transferences, as I continue to get further clarification on exactly how that all works, digging into the rule book, we've got our Gophers going through it all. That would be the maximum that we could see. So down to 5th, maybe. 4th, looking pretty likely, given that Ulf will probably win Turkish region points, and that point spot will transfer down to 4th place here at the PMSL finals, not on the Turkish regional points team.
We'll check back on that. We'll check back in with all of that at the end of the day. When things do settle and the dust sets itself on the ground. See Sandstorm down there on his phone. Distracted.
He's planning his next trophy heist, you know?
He is, yeah.
It's a very important bit of business.
The venue layout. Unlock. We are just waiting for the first game to get started. I can see 64 players in lobby. I see a match lobby actually appearing on our screen. We're currently in the loading screen right now. As our bandpan security system gets prepared and ready to go. You'd hope none of these players are cheating.
Nah, they shouldn't be. They've been watched like a hawk as well by our referees. No foul play to be seen. Of course, our first map up is Rondo, and we covered it a little bit, Blank, but this is a big opening.
Do you know what I would do? If I was going to cheat, which I would never do.
Yeah.
If I was going to cheat,
okay,
I would bring in a very subtle and small water gun.
Okay.
And I would just spray my opponents at random intervals.
Okay. No one would ever know who it was.
Help.
What's going on there?
And then they would go down.
Glasses, tap it and it goes. Wow.
That would be good, right? Not enough water for it to be like I'm being sprayed by a water gun, but enough water for it to be distracting.
Well,
they all think you're going to cheat by, aim hacks, wall hacks. And I'm just going to get physical.
Yeah.
Not in terms of I'm going to beat anyone up, but I'm going to get the water gun up.
Don't influence the game, influence the player.
Exactly.
Don't play the game, play the player. It's a valid strategy when thinking in terms of game theory, doing reasonable and legal operations as well. So for instance, doing weird strategies that they didn't expect or think are bad. And you're doing it, and they're like, "Oh, why are you doing that?" And then all of a sudden they're angry. But the water pistol fits into that category too.
Exactly. I'll never know.
In more nefarious ways, though. As we kick off our first match, Rondo, of course, with the recall system, a big points earning potential for all of our teams. They do need to make the most of it because this day could end at any moment. We'll see if Ulf are going to be able to get the 10 that they need to cross that smash point threshold.
That's exactly what we'll be looking out for during the entirety of this game. There will be nothing else really on our minds until, you know, maybe something spectacular happens. But up until that point, we'll be fairly focused on that. S2G dropping down towards Jadena City. Alongside with Kara getting out early, Xley pulling the old Xley Classic, heading up towards Hime Town and the northeast side of the map in general. That's where they tend to like to play. Keep one player up here, send 3 scouts out to get some points underway. See here though, S2G dropping very close to Fenerbahce. And I think that this will probably be the proving grounds for me, for S2G. Over many games of Rondo so far, they have been terrible in the early game. Kelsey and Hamzy G both going down very early. Pretty tough circle, honestly, around Tuling. We know that Tuling is a massive feature, really big high ground here. Quite difficult to rotate around this area as well over towards that northeast edge. There's 2 long bridges, at least main bridges you have to cross there. Yeah, tough, very tough.
I just enjoy the fact that it was Tuling near 2 long bridges. That was,
oh, it's so true. Yeah,
enjoyable,
too long.
Enjoyable little linguistic lick there. Having a good time with that one. Papra Supermassive, they're up near Ryan and keeping track of Ulf. They are sticking to their guns. So no hot drops out of the ordinary for them. They are not going to try and make that one work. They're over by Stadium. They're a bit close to Anathosis Famagusta, but they're about coming up on a kilometre away on average, so still fairly chill. Fenerbahce, though, in Jadena City. They've got some noisy neighbours. They are in this next circle, so they can take a little bit of time with it. But Solke down the staircase. Look at a sleigh, and Savian goes out. Double flush as Lux falls next.
Good job. Solke is still a confusing player to me. I'm impressed. That's good, though. That is very good. Not the player that I expected to step up, but he certainly does. Very well done. I would say a lot of pressure on Solke as the new player coming into this. That's a good nade. Goes down the stairs, and it is a knock. A 3-piece now for Solke at the start of the game. Is that Fenerbahce just out now?
No, they
had
sent,
3 players back up. Okay.
Yeah, they had Razy on and off post here. A little bit further north of Jadena City, we see this recall coming on. They're going to be fine, Blank. There's no worries about it. What are you talking about? They're totally fine.
Yeah, they're all good.
As you can see, they're dropping down the JS9 gun in tow for Simple Domac. A couple of those supplies still on board as well.
Yeah, you're basically on your way back down again here over on Rondo. So you're not just dropping in with nothing. Which is maybe another change they could make.
Yeah.
You do drop in with nothing. Yeah. Right now it is fun to watch. So S2G already getting 3 elims, 3 points. Right at the start here sits someone 69. And you can see that the difference between them and 4th place, not that large anymore. 69 up to 84, 15 points total. That and more can be arranged here over on Rondo.
We see
teams do need to get a move on though, John.
We see big elim games fairly frequently on this map, but only 1 hot drop this game, Blank. And this is new territory for Rondo, right? Teams have actually sort of chilled out a little bit here, which is curious. You know, we normally see at least 3 or 4 different hot drop situations, but we've only seen the one with S2G and Fenerbahce.
I think that people are kind of moving back towards a little bit more of a safe play style here on Rondo, especially on the last day. I wonder if everyone's like, well, we really don't want to give Ulf any points. And Ulf could be any one of these two. So let's just be a little bit more calm with it. But again, like, we've seen 30-point games. We've seen 27-point games here on Rondo. For a team in 8th place, a 30-point game would put you in 2nd. So it's just one of those things where do you want to take the risk? Because I think Rondo is interesting as well in being in map 1, where if you take a big risk and you have a big game, you shake up the leaderboards in a dramatic way.
I think. I mean, it's so dynamic here in the middle of the tables as well. It can definitely get quite dramatic. I mean, 4th place now is the goal for a lot of these teams in this middle bit, right? And as you say, a lot more achievable to get to that 4th place than it is to think about getting in towards that top 3. Although for IWNRX, I think even then it might be unthinkable.
Especially when you're bisected by the roof of the car.
Yeah.
For a short while. Yeah, for IWNRX, it is. I think it's too late for that team.
Yeah.
They gotta go a little. They gotta do something insane to catch up. But I am somewhat counting out now teams like XLA, IWNRX, and TMB from getting that 3rd place spot today.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. As I said, the only way that TNB could make their points totals is by getting up to over 105 points, which, as I said, needs 64 points today. That would put them probably actually with a shot of just being way up the tables anyway, not necessarily up towards 3rd or 4th. So yeah, I think on both counts, it may be time to count them out. Unfortunately, because they had a really, really abysmal day yesterday. It has to be said, they just kept getting shut out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where mathematically, absolutely, is it possible for TMB to get into the top 3? Yes. But you have to also go by like their gameplay and what we've actually seen from them in the past. And what we've seen from them in the past is not great.
Yes, it's not been ideal. It has really not been. As you see, what more can Ulf do? They have yet to get a point on board. Ketch actually took a little bit of damage there, and they're diverting away from, I think that was IWNRX on their north side, as they rotate towards the cherry blossoms through the valleys. Down to Ling. Kara taking shots out their way as well. Taking a little spike out that direction. Kara, I think, is probably one of the more interesting teams in this scenario, right? Looking to challenge for a gauntlet spot directly. And they've had some really blast out games. We'll see if they could do that before the day ends.
Back-to-back chicken dinners yesterday was very impressive. And again, for Kara, but that's the thing, is that even if they had back-to-back chicken dinners over on Erangel and the smash point doesn't change, you're still not making it, are you, really? It'd have to be... Yeah, you would make it to the smash point ruling on game 3. Unless they have a crazy game here, of course.
That's true. That is true.
I'd love to talk about the map right now, but my cat is in the way.
Okay, well, I can tell you, there's a big south shift on this circle, and Ulf have just managed to get a very central ridgeline. The S2G position on the east side of it, a big old mound to the southwest of Jadina City, just over the river, is going to be nice and powerful, but who's going to contest for it? Ulf actually going further, and I mean, fair enough, they don't want to receive all of these teams moving in from that northwest side. I think teams will be glad that it's moving away from Tulane, right, on that plateau, but there is still a recall beacon there for the next couple of minutes at least, so maybe someone will try and prioritize that. But for now, this is the calmest we've ever seen Rondo be.
Yeah, I think everyone really does not want to go out early. Everyone's gunning for that like 18-point game, aren't they? That's the thing. Everyone knows that it is certainly possible. But it's crazy to me that Ulf makes this rotation. They get to a very outstanding place on the map. Good high ground around them. S2G, the team that's close to them, and S2G, I don't know how much of a threat they are going to be to Ulf in the future. But give Ulf and Scarface some high ground, you're good to go.
Could be. The Noisy Boys currently rotating actually all the way out to the east, though, on this one. Playing in the city. It looks like they're going to come through late. S2G are aware that this is a possibility. And they are still back guarding that. So it could be a threat to Ulf if they aren't aware of it. We'll have to wait and see. But the pop-offs are starting to come through. Regnum Kai actually over towards Ida, who are down to, is that one player? No, 2 players active? Or is it 3 and they're just on slivers of HP? I think that Ida are in a really rough spot here. In fact, I know that they are. Regnum Kai have control of the Tooling recall beacon as well.
There is a lot of teams over towards the west side. Very, very difficult to make happen. But you're right, Ida slowly getting peeled apart here by Regnum Kaya, who are reluctant to leave that north position. If Regnum Kaya can get some good points on this game, they'll be quite happy, because I think that for Regnum Kaya, a lot of times Rondo goes by and then they play catch up after that, right? That's the difficult part. And usually they are pretty good at catching up, but it does push them further behind. But if Regnum Kaya can have a nice game here on Rondo, it will be very promising for their qualification to that gauntlet.
I think if you can step up to be anywhere near Ulf, you're looking a lot safer. And this is this late rotate I was talking about with the Noisy Boys. S2G, they left Solke out back to guard their flank. They actually leave 2 players on the far side docks here to receive those long bridges, trying to potentially poke their noses in. And the Noisy Boys tried to be sneaky with it. They get spotted out because of that wherewithal. They're wide on this.
TMB. They're down. Goodness me, what a shift on the circle that is over towards the northwest side. I think Regnum Kai will be able to get a lot done with that one. X-Lay coming through on the northeast, as we know they usually do. In the meantime, Fenerbahce been taken down. Ulf is on our screens. Scarface knocked. No. Not likely getting a res here, though.
Eren down as well. Ketch and Solus now looking for the fight, but with Eren down, with Scarface down, these are the 2 heavy hitters on the team. The rest of them, sure, they're potent. What can they do here to pull themselves back up? There are still recall beacons available, not for long though. And into the vehicle, Ketch goes. Yeah, I think this might be a recall situation, because Ulf may have been denied their 10-point opener.
Yeah, Ulf actually has to dip out. And Fenerbahce will get away with it after holding them. They will have to go for the recall beacon, as you say. Damage on the approach towards it. There's so many teams at stage 3 that should have really good control over these beacons. Sort of really can't afford to have just one player going out there to pick it up. Most of these locations are picked up. I mean, S2G's spot down on the southeast side, probably one of the few last remaining areas that's safe to go for. Wolf just has to hope that by the time they get to it, S2G's already left. 0 points so far, John.
I'm looking
No game 2 smash.
I'm looking. Well, hang on a minute, because I'm looking at Ketch. He's getting to a beacon. They can survive in the stage 3 zone in the parachutes. They can potentially still make this one happen. There's the recall, and they're coming back in. Blank. All 4 of them are there. You can see they're dashing through. It's not going to tick super hard. This is a big pickup. The question is, where do they fall? Where do they drop? Do they have the vehicles? Because they're all going to be in 1 at this stage, Blank. They're not going to have the mobility that they would have wanted to, but they have still got a little bit of leeway to be given.
I think they were very lucky that S2G left when they did. But yeah, I think for, honestly, the boys over on Ulf, they've got really no loot to work with. They're playing with JS9s. They sort of need a close quarters engagement to make this happen. I just think that even though they have 4 players, it's likely that going forward, they're not going to have huge amount of firepower on side. They would have to backstab some teams to make this work.
Side, the next circle goes to the bay. Look at Regnum Kaya's position. Blank, we're talking about them having a good game here. With the high ground that they've got, they've still got control of a recall beacon for the next few minutes. It's really not that long now anymore, though. And they go, ooh, no, the Noisy Boys popping up with Eren. But Regnum Kaya could be chasing this one nice and heavily. Eren gets pushed as well. They can't go back for another recall. There's really nothing doing. They're playing on the 3 now.
I think it might be game over right now for Ulf. I don't think they're getting past TMB, who have just sat down the south side for so long, just have not moved, and they expected players to come from behind. Watching out for parachutes, I imagine, leaving Ulf now just on the 2. Ketch is able to find Emre and finds another. Eliminates Ida by himself. Goodness me. Well played.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. So there's 2 points for Ulf. He's got a med kit as well. So he's going to go all the way up. Does lose Solus. And it is all up to Ketch. How many points did he earn here? That is the big question. Without a chicken dinner on 2 points, you cannot get 10. So he is going to need to earn more. Or get a chicken dinner solo. But I think that one's a lot less likely.
I mean, for Ketch, what is it? What do you need? You'd need...
If it was second place, he'd need 4 elims total.
Yeah. Third place needs 5. That's a pretty tall order for Ketch. Frustratingly as well, the only recall beacon still in play is the one that's controlled by Regnum Kaya in Tu Ling. Ah, what a rough start for Ulf. Not the team I thought was going to be going down so early.
I mean, you've got to wonder how they've let that one slip. It is not great news for them, but they still do have a sliver of hope. Maybe not so much, because they've got Mazzaro bearing down upon them. Spray down. Okay, they have an answer. The stage 4 zone, though, is pushing in, and it will not be resable, so they have to get a move on. It's unlikely that these reses come through. That's a lot of danger there as well. Sprayed down, and damage continues to be rolling on down the hill. Nonton is spotted, so it is just the one player now for Brat. Kiss you. Spots one. The noisy boys down in the valley, but across the way, S2G, ever vigilant. Sorry, that's Fenerbahce.
Ulf yellow, so I can understand where you went wrong there. I actually can kind of understand where Ulf went wrong. I think any other day, Ulf just commits to that engagement between them and Fenerbahce. They get so scared, though, on 2 players, it's 2v2, that instead of just going for it and trying to complete the fight, which I actually had confidence that they would be able to do there versus Fenerbahce, you see Ketch just dip. And I think that was a call that was made within the team. I think everyone on that team agreed with that call. I personally think that that call was made in weakness.
All right, well, the nerves are getting to him. The clash of the 2 yellow teams, though, atop this hill. S2G having a lot of nades sent down and a lot of red bars flashing up. This is brutal from Fenerbahce. They lost the fight in Jadida, but they want revenge and they're going to get it. Goodness me, what a way to go. But S2G losing the majority of their players. They're playing as 1 now, Blank.
That nade was ginormous. S2G getting cut to bits. I mean, they were able to get 6 elims on the game, but that's all it will be. Regnum Kaya looking likely to earn the win off the back of this one as Xlay starts to take a lot of damage, almost immediately getting cut apart. Shiktas are on their western side. Luckily for Ketch, the circle does come down towards the south. He can continue to play alongside the road here.
That little bit of a glimmer of maybe, but it would be really something special to pull 10 points out of this game. On the southwest side, these 2 teams are going to have to leave from this position. Asgard scrapping with IWNRX. And IWNRX have been a little bit lackluster. Asgard at their moments, but can they make it happen here? Around the side, Pine finds one, but it's traded off as they dip out for another. And another shotgun shell lands as well. 2 players waging war. Forwards they go. As Real now the last standing in a 1 versus 1 with Swain up the top of the hill. Has a nade in hand. 2 in the pocket. Will look to put the first one around the side of the tree. Breaking out wide. Real gets into the line of fire and Swain just about clings on. But it's not all roses for them. They still only have 2 players and a long way to trudge. The blue zone pushing.
It was almost some real steel in that moment, but not meant to be as he cracks under the pressure, the weight of that engagement between them and IWNRX. Swain goes down to 2 players on his team, is not able to pick his friendly teammate back up, leaving 2 prominent teams within the circle, Kara and Regnum Kaya, and an outside chance in Falcons down on that south side. Did he just run them over?
Yes, that'll do it. That'll work. Kara with the 1 elim so far. on the southwest edge, looking for the Falcons. They have been knocked, and again, these are the teams now really up against the blue zone, under the pressure of teams like Fenerbahce, like Kara, trying to move in this area. The Falcons having a tough time. Besiktas as well, just been eliminated. A very tough time indeed. More placement points, getting closer and closer for Ulf.
Big game from Fenerbahce. 9 elims after they will take down Ulf earlier on. There is 2 solos over towards the northeast side of Ketch in Jetgo Merciless, as well as I believe there's Hamzy G from S2G right now. I want to see him make this work. It would be incredible. Like you say, a long way to go, but we are slowly cutting down players. Falcons, Ralph looks for a quick sweep and scout. Spots Lewis. Goes flying. I mean, he's safe though, at least.
Hey, he is a Falcon. He's got to take to the air at some point, but you're right. Does manage to find his roost. For the time being anyway, just about the next circle. We'll come on through and let's see if they're going to give Regnum Kaya the juice. Ooh, it's up north, Blank. I think Regnum Kaya might just have a slice of it. The question is, how viable is that terrain that will be afforded to them?
There's a problem now, though, for Ketch, is that Fenerbahce likely are the ones wanting to push around this corner. Hamzy G is spotted by Loxy, which likely means sooner or later Ketch is going to be visible by Regnum Kaya also. He still has to find 3 more elims at minimum.
That's for a third place. I mean, if he gets the chicken dinner, it's done there and then. But you know,
That's not happening.
be reasonable.
Yeah.
Be reasonable. Second place, even then, that's going to be very, very difficult. But would mean that he'd need 4 elims. So 3 elims would be safer. But we're talking about a solo surviving through for the next 5 teams. The position that he's in, though, I mean, it's not impossible.
Good. I think the saving grace for Ketch right now is that Fenerbahce is breathing down his neck. Eventually, though, Fenerbahce has to pull Savian off that position to help with both Kara and the Falcons. Can't remain here forever. You see the nades start to pour in, and you see Savian start to back up this way, which leaves Ketch feeling a lot better about his prospects.
Not now, though, because Regnum Kaya, they spotted him. Catches in the firefly, and Regnum Kaya taking him down. Silas and Loxy both move forwards. They're getting across the river. They don't like playing on that northern side. And as this fight unfolds, Ulf will not cross that smash boundary. Not this game. Falcons scrapping it out over the hill. Kara wanting to try and take this opportunity to find position. And Regnum Kaya all the while making waves on the north side, leaving themselves 2 and 2, but 7 elims blank. They're starting to turn up on the afterburners.
100%. I mean, they need a pretty massive game to get close enough. Yeah, that's not happening. But they can set themselves up well for Erangel. Coming up next, 8 elims so far. There's still, 11 more elims remaining in the lobby potential. A ginormous 20-point game would be nice for them. Another Bites the Dust. That's Razy from Fenerbahce. Silas continues to put the pressure on. Merciless behind will happily sit this one out for as long as possible from Jetgo. Considering their 4th place.
I mean, so the terrain that sits before Wild and Zedwolf is exactly why Silas and Loxy have done this, right? It's low, it's sloping terrain in front of them, completely open. So using that third-party opportunity when they knew there was fighting on the opposing hill to send 2 people directly across. This is heads-up gameplay from Silas. Again, he's really impressed on the rotates.
So funny to me as well, where Regnum Kaya, they're like, oh no guys, we're really weak at Rondo. We can't play this map. It's like day 3. You thought?
Oh dear. Well, will the duo be able to hold off 4 Falcons? That's the question. They're rolling around the other side and actually isolating the fight with the duo could be dangerous.
We'll see what Regnum Kaya to pull out here. Either way, they have really good backup. And the range is not that significant coming through from the other 2 players on Regnum Kaya. Good thing that they did push down this way, though, because their circle does not help them in the slightest.
Hey, over to Narvalo. Info for Silas. Really well found. Oh, the answer not quite complete, but is certainly going to bow his head a little bit. A nade over. And the first aid is getting popped here. Nades now, again, cooking for the Falcons. Trying to land on towards Silas, but the healing's coming through, and he's repositioned. Loxy falling a little bit further back. playing a little bit more further away. What's Merciless going to be able to do here, though? Because there's the snake in the grass on the northeast side, playing in the water.
That's frustrating. I mean, Loxy just switching weapons back and forth there. If I was Silas, I'd be quite frustrated because he was his fallback, right? Absolutely was the fallback for him. Silas likely will get shut down here. He's desperately crawling up towards that top side, but the rest of the team's calling for Loxy to move across. I don't know how Silas is still alive. I think Falcons are very worried to crest this ridge. Good nade should be the end of Lewis there, and it is.
Silas has a little bit of smoke cover that was launched earlier, but I'm assuming that's going to be burnt away fairly soon. Kara just getting bled out here. And this is unfortunate because Jetko is still alive. And remember, this is the fight for 3rd and 4th place. For Kara, currently in 3rd, but if Jetko are able to outlast them, maybe get an elim or 2, they could jump up into that 3rd place. And the Falcons as well. I mean, they're very likely to be already in with the points, with a regional points qualification spot, but we'll have to get Gauntlet direct. And out they go. 3 players now remaining as Ralph did get flushed away. Now Valo, though, not so lucky. He's been spotted by Zedwolf and flushed too. Regnum Kaya are on a tear. Blank, they really want that smash boundary.
I mean, they're getting very close to it. And Marso goes down to Regnum Kaya. Stolen away once again. Now just 2 Falcons remaining. Have they still not res Silas? Like, come on, guys. He's ready to go. Get my boy back up. Get him back in the fight. He has held on for so long. And if they're confident just to finish it. No, they get him up. They get him up.
No, he's dead. He's out.
Is he actually?
Yeah. They'll just let him bleed dry.
Oh my, why?
Well, either way, it's Merciless still in the water on a solo gameplay. And I don't think Regnum Kaya know about it. They've moved across this open ground before. They think they've scouted it. I wonder what impact this could have. The Falcons could be able to snatch this away with a little assist from the 4th place team.
Yeah, to be fair, if Regnum Kaya want to have like a big push. Ooh.
Oh, he knows.
Yeah,
okay.
I think Wild knows, yeah. If Regnum Kaya want to have a big push going into the last couple of matches, and gone under.
Snatching a breath while he can, but yeah, I feel like denying the point here. I mean, it's reasonable. And he will go down, so no more snake in the grass, and Regnum Kaya can fully unleash their presence to be felt by the Falcons atop the hill.
Yeah, if they want to make that big push towards the middle of the day, yeah, Regnum Kaya needs the chicken dinner on this one. Those extra 4 points might feel quite minimal, but they're a lot in the long run. Especially if you're trying to streak out to get yourself into Smash ruling early, which they are, by the way.
They were 43 points behind at the start of this match. With both of these elims and a chicken dinner, that would give them 28 of those points, Blank. That would leave them on 15 more points needed and only 5 points behind. Well, actually a little bit more than 5 points behind now, behind Ulf. But what it would do is make them feel very safe in the top 3.
Regnum Kaya. We'll just wait this one out. No reason to cause any panic. They know that they can just wait for Falcons to have to move down. They're all out of utility as well. This should be a pretty miraculous turnaround. And I would blame it on the fact that they didn't pick Silas back up again.
Falcons having to move forwards. They've got all that deployable cover to finagle their way around and hopefully find an opening for Redox and Koa. Navalo and Ralph have done the work so far with 1 and 3 elims. But now it's up to them. They've got the ammo. It's just ordnance is left, and Zedwolf steps up, makes his presence known. He has to leave this spot because the blue zone. Lox is moving up. You can see him trying to scrabble his way up the scree there beneath the Falcons' perch. Has got that shotgun, waiting for them to peek over the top. Where's Wild? He's covered off by the tree. He needs to be a little bit more impactful here, and he gets those shots on through. Wild over towards Redox as he breaks out wide, looks for more, and it is just Regnum Kaya resurging up towards the top. What a way to close it down, and what a way to put a dent in that gap towards the top of the tables, in towards that smash point boundary. With a 28-point game, Regnum Kaya bid for freedom.
Very, very clean game there coming through from Regnum Kaya on Rondo of all places for Regnum Kaya. But again, for the Falcons, it wasn't super easy for them from the position they were playing. A little bit difficult, a little bit tough. But getting second place, they'll be okay with that. I think for Falcons, at least, that's like, 10 points they're able to put up that game. They only had 4 elims, which is not a ridiculous margin, but it does sit them a little bit further up towards the top side of the table. Like you said, they've probably at this point qualified, or at least most definitely qualified through points, but they would still love to go to Gauntlet.
Yeah, I mean, third place would be phenomenal for them. But for the Falcons, they are, going to have to compete with, it was Jetgo, it was Kara, it was Besiktas. They have closed that gap again, so we'll have to wait and see. And if Falcons get one of those Gauntlet spots, that means it would be alongside Ulf's regional point spot, 2 spots getting drafted down the table to leave 5th place, that boundary for any form of qualification here.
Kaya, was that their second chicken dinner now? They were able to accrue. It's good to see. Some very familiar names on there, and it's just weird seeing S2G on the board twice, yet still not doing amazingly well. But the monolith is slowly filling up, and there's not much room left on it anymore.
No. I don't know if they thought about what happens if a Smash victory happens, right? Because there'll just be empty slots.
There will be empty slots. Yeah. But you have to. Maybe you could just like put their team logo all the way through.
Or maybe they've got like a special little smash win placard that goes in the empty spots.
Yeah.
That'd be probably.
What
the
happens
best solution.
to all the money that you would earn for chicken dinners as well? The $250 per chicken dinner. Who gets that?
Well, you didn't get it. You didn't earn a chicken dinner, so you don't get the bounty.
Yeah, we're pocketing that one. That's for us now. That's going to pay for all the other casters.
Yeah, that's John. That's the John and Blank Fund, right? That's what happens to that.
Like
we need this game, guys. We really need these games to end right now. So Regnum Kaya, Ulf, just figure it out. Get 2 really strong games in a row. One of you win, and then
ideally,
time of it. The soonest now that we can have a Smash victory is in match 3, which would mean that 3 games would go unwon, leaving us $750 to split between us. What are you buying?
Yeah. I mean, I might grab a singular AirPod.
Just the one.
Yeah, right now my right AirPod does not work. I'd quite like to replace that. That would be cool.
And fair enough. Yeah. That's probably within budget. We can put that on the expense.
Yeah, I think it's in budget, 100%. But yeah, after that last game, sad that Ulf didn't make it. Again, I think that I think the pressure got to him, personally. I think it's absolutely reasonable to say the pressure got to him as well.
Yeah, I really would have liked them to go for, and this was the only opportunity they had to go for it, was go for a hot drop, right? Go for a 3-player hot drop onto just anyone, really, and see what they could do. For instance, I think it was Bra in the midst of all that who were fighting a lot early. They got 10 points this game. But MVP, Zed Wolf, at range, able to do so much work from across that valley, up on that high ground. They played in that position for so long. And they were brilliant on the assist going across the river for the forward duo.
Yeah, I think for the guys on Regnum Kaya, they're slowly utilizing this guy better and better every single game. Still kind of annoyed no one picked Silas up. Whatever. These things happen. But I think overall, 28 minutes and 29 survival time, very, very good for Zed Wolf over the multiple games he's played. I'm pretty sure that game was like 30 minutes long, though. Anyway, Zed Wolf with 967 damage. Zed Wolf with 6 elims. Seven was here. The 2 grenades got after that massive one he sent down towards S2G, which cut their game very short.
Yeah, they had a little bit of retribution found, of course, for their hot drop in Jadina City. But with the recall beacons, they were able to go back up as 4 and exact their revenge there and then. No waiting around for it. Yusuf, 361 meters. I felt like we might have seen a little bit of a longer elim coming on through, especially given that open valley, right? It could have been potentially a little bit longer range. But no, 361 is going to be there for Yusuf.
967 damage there for Zedwolf, crazy stuff. But Loxy not far behind with 5 eliminations of his own with 868 damage. It was all around a very, very good game. Silas always taking the most damage on the team, considering he usually scouts out first. But see here, Loxy took 0 damage that entire game. You do not see that very often. Yeah,
with
I know.
Silas. Wow.
Pretty crazy. That's why Silas went down, by the way. He was trying to keep his perfect, flawless record.
He was like, if I go anywhere near you, they're going to throw an aid and I'm going to take 5 damage and that's going to ruin my day.
I wonder if that's the first time we've seen a 0 damage chicken dinner from a player before.
I'm not sure. It's certainly notable and probably very, very rare to be in those final circles and alive, right? With 0 damage taken. So that's pretty cool. And he was right up there, cool. Right? He got the final blow, no? I believe. Moved up the hillside.
Yes, I think so. I think it was very, very fun. Very, very fun to watch. I think Regnum Karya are going to be super pleased with that one because I think yesterday when we were talking about it, it was like, it feels kind of like out of reach right now for Regnum Karya. It feels like it might not be able to make it. It's a tough run ahead of them. But with that game, it's a lot easier now. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. They're 15 points behind, if my calculations are correct. They are 15 points behind that smash point as it stands. I think that means 119 points at the end of that match. So needing 15 in a game, it is still another big game, right? And we're still going to be looking more towards Ulf, who were able to get 3 points that match, therefore needing 7, which is so much more achievable over a single match in general. So it'll be very interesting to see if they're able to do that or if they're just going to win this next game, because they always win match 2, it seems, in these finals.
Yeah. However, that is the final Rondo we'll ever play here in PMSL EU. Not ever again. We're never playing Rondo ever again now. That's the last one. That's moving cheeky. But yeah, I think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult to pick up those random points because, again, Rondo is that place. It is that map to just go heavy on the elims. Unfortunately, not the case right now. And for the boys over on Ulf, they got to make more points happen.
Well, let's head back to the stage to take a look at what they've got going for us.
Oyuncu formalarını, takım formalarını tasarlayan, aynı zamanda PUBG Mobile hayranı olan bir beyefendi. Hoş geldiniz.
Hoş bulduk, teşekkür ederim.
Şimdi size Davut'un soruları var.
Thank you very much, Bilgihan, and of course, thank you very much to our analyst desk and our casters. We are joined by Ahmed and Bilgihan, and Ahmed's one of our biggest fans when it comes to PUBG Mobile. Now, I want to ask you, you've been with us for a while, but I want you to take us back to the beginning. What sparked the idea for you to start designing jerseys for esports teams? Was it the love of the game, or did you just want to showcase your capabilities and show your art to millions of fans around the world?
Diyor ki en başa dönecek olursak, siz bu formaları tasarlamaya nasıl başladınız? Bunu bir soruyor. Bir de diyor ki siz bu formaları tasarlamak için PUBG Mobile hayranı olduğunuz için mi bunu tasarladınız? Yoksa milyonlar bu sanatımızı görsün diye mi?
Aslında ben PUBG Mobile 2028 ikinci sezonla başladım. Tamamen vakit geçirmek için başladığım bu oyunda daha sonra oyunun enerjisi ve atmosferinde kendimi bir anda içerisinde buldum ve asla kendimi oradan alamadım. Çok güzel arkadaşlıklar edindim. Oyunun ziyadesinde çok güzel dostluklar da kurdum. Daha sonra PUBG Mobile yayınlarını yapan arkadaşlarımın yayınlarını izlemeye başladığımda bir logo tasarımı yaptım. Ve böyle bir eksikliğin olduğunu hissettim. Yani böyle bir ihtiyacın olduğunu hissettim. Logo tasarımı yaparken bir takımdan forma tasarım teklifi aldım. Aslında hiç yapmadığım bir işti ama deneyip kendimi sınayabileceğim, görebileceğim bir aslında neden buldum, bir sebep buldum. Ve o şekilde başladım. Tamamen sevgiyle başlayıp aynı şekilde tasarlanan formaları oyuncuların üzerinde görmekten ve böyle bir oyuncusundan olmaktan onur duyuyorum, severek yapıyorum.
Şimdi dünyaya çevirecek.
First of all, it started a very long time ago when I first started playing the game. I made so many friends online, playing with them day and night, and randomly I got the opportunity to create a logo for someone, and I tried it out. I really enjoyed the process, and they really liked it. And I would say a little while down the line, I was given the opportunity to create a jersey for a team. And then I dived into that again, and it was just a very enjoyable experience, and I'm very honored to be here on the stage at a tournament like the PMSL. Now, and honestly, I love that the fact that you've been here for a while, and you yourself, you play the game quite a lot, and the fact that you yourself have had an impact on the community because of your jerseys, and I absolutely love that. Now, I want to ask you, there must have been an incredible moment seeing your creation, the jersey that you made on a professional player at an event of this scale. So can you tell me, what was the reaction, you and your family seeing that on a stream at a competition? How did it feel?
Senin tasarladığın formayı bu profesyonel oyuncuların giydiğini gördüğünde ailen ve sen ne hissettiniz? Yani senin tasarladığın formaları oyuncular giyiyor. Bunu gördüğünde ne hissettin?
Çok heyecanlandım. Gerçekten emeğimin karşılığını öncelikle aldığımı hissettim. Ve bu organizasyonda tabii ki oyuncular tarafından yazılması beni çok gururlandırdı ve onur etti. Aynı şekilde ailem de beni bu şekilde destekledi. Onlarla çok sevindim. Özellikle küçük kızım okulda arkadaşlarıyla paylaşırken bu videolarını derken çok mutlu oluyor, çok gururlanıyor. Bu beni de sevindiriyor.
I want to say it's incredibly it's an incredible honor for me to see my creations, my designs on these players at these competitions, and I have my family supporting me. I even have my young daughter who shares my designs with her friends, and it's just a beautiful process, and I'm very happy about it. Now, I want to ask you, you mentioned your daughter, I want to ask, you have your wife, your daughter, your son with you as well here watching the competition, and I would say everyone has become a PUBG Mobile esports fan because of what you did so far. Now I want to ask you, the house seems a little bit divided because everyone of the family supports a different team. So how's the family dynamic in the house? Does it get a little chaotic when you have different members of the family supporting different teams?
Duyduğum kadarıyla senin kızın senin sayende e-sporu sevmiş ama başka takımları tutuyormuşsunuz. Aranızda aile içinde nasıl bir rekabet oluyor? Sen başka takım tutuyorsun, başka takım tutuyor. Nasıl oluyor onu soruyorum.
Ben oyunu oynarken çok oyun, yani telefonumda bilgisayarda çalıştığım için eşimin başta bir negatif oluyor. Daha sonra onun bir parçası olduğunda ve yaptığım işleri ekranlar karşısında olduğunu görünce benim de kızımın da sevdiğim görünce o da sevmeye başladı. Kızım aşırı bir estücü falan hayranım. Ve şarkısını oynamayı çok seviyor. Tabii ki biz de estücüyü çok seviyoruz. Çünkü dünya şampiyonluğu getirdiği için. Ben ayrıca ilk takımı tutmuyorum ama çünkü birçok takımın sahiplerini tanıdığım için genelde tarafta tanıyorum ama şu an Kulüp Festival'da Amigo kardeşim, arkadaşım diyorum. Onlara çok yakınım. İnşallah birinciliği hak ederler diye düşünüyorum.
Well, at the very beginning, my wife didn't really enjoy the fact that I played a lot on my phone and on my PC at home. But once she saw that my daughter started getting into the process and she liked watching me play, and my daughter is a huge S2G fan, and I want to say from there it kind of grew more and more, and then once she saw how much I got involved with the community, with the designs that I've had, she started to believe in it a lot. And again, like the whole house seems to be massive fans of S2G. I don't have a specific team that I root for because I design jerseys for multiple teams, but if I was to choose one at the moment, the biggest would be, I'm a big fan of Amigo, I'm a big fan of Ulf Esports, and I would say like they might be the ones I'm supporting. They're doing pretty well. And honestly, I like that. I love there's a little bit of a difference. You support multiple teams, but I like the fact that your family got into esports because of what you did. It's absolutely beautiful. And it just goes to show the wide range that PUBG Mobile attracts to the game and how incredible the community is. Now, you dressed so many fantastic teams, but I want to ask you, beyond just looking cool, what is the most important thing that a team's jersey should say?
Sen bir sürü forma tasarladın. Çok güzel formalar tasarladın. Tamam. Bu formaların güzel gözükmesi de çok güzel bir şey. Ama sence en önemli anlatması gereken şey ne? Formayı tasarlarken.
Aslında ben sade formaların aslında daha çok hareketli ve formanın simgesini, logosunu tasarlayan, gösteren tasarımı yapmayı daha çok seviyorum. Aslında forma bir üzerine sürekli takımın simgesini ve kendini gösteren bir formadır. Ve yaptığım tasarımlarda o oyuncuların formaların kendini çok güzel hissetmesi için tasarımlar yapmaya çalışıyorum.
I try to focus as much as I can on a minimalistic design. I would like the logo to speak for itself because that's the most important thing about the jersey and of course about the organization. And I want the players and the teams to feel proud of the jersey that they are wearing and the organization that they are representing. One final question for you, Ahmed, and then we'll leave you be. If your daughter came to you and asked you and said, Mama, I want to work in esports, what would you say?
Eğer kızın bir gün e-spor oyuncusu olmak isterse ona ne derdin?
Kesinlikle desteklerdim. Çünkü PUBG Mobile diğer meslek dalları gibi diyorum ya da diğer spor dalları gibi gerçekten kendini kanıtlamış ve dünya çapında mükemmel bir organizasyona sahip olan bir oyun artık nasıl yayınlarsınız. Kızımı sonuna kadar destekledim. Çünkü e-sporcu olmak takım disiplini bir şey. Burada her gençte olması gereken aslında böyle bir şey. O yüzden kızımı kadar destekledim.
I would definitely support her 100%. I would love to see her follow her dream in esports, especially in PUBG Mobile, because the esport has proven itself time and time again. And I want to say the camaraderie, the community that you see between the team is absolutely amazing. And I would definitely support her wholeheartedly. Ahmed, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And ladies and gentlemen, we still have a few more games to go. It's only the first one. That's done.
I want to say thank you for your great questions, my friend.
Oh, listen, my translation. I've been in Turkey for like 3 days. I feel like my Turkish is amazing. Thank you very much, Ahmed. Teşekkürler. And now we'll go back to our analysts.
Davut'a harika soruları ve Ahmet Bey'e de gerçekten samimi cevaplar için çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Hediye yağmuru devam edecek. Bizde kalın. Burada tribünlere de yine hediyelerimiz sürecek. Bunun da bilgisini vererek sanırım analiz masasına pası gönderiyoruz. Heyecan devam edecek.
Hey, it's always good to hear about the stories that build esports to what it is. And of course, it's always great to get involved. It can bring a lot of joy. As can any, competitive environment, I think that there are two sides to it. There's that side where you see people driving to be the absolute best, but then there's also the support that exists around all of that situation and the camaraderie and even the family sometimes that can help you come on through. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights from that last match, our first match of the day, where Ulf were denied their opportunity to pass that smash point boundary.
It is an unfortunate situation for them. I think that Ulf, you're looking at them in terms of just that. I think they pulled back on the gas a little bit there in that game. I would have loved to have seen them be a little bit more dominant. Kind of sad, really. We don't get to see too much. That was the play that I thought he was driving into his own team because both teams are green, of course. But absolutely dominated them on that roll-up, which is crazy. But Regnum Kaya, incredible game from them. MK14 coming in big for those guys, and a 28-point game. Absolutely gigantic there for Regnum Kaya. IWNRX didn't do too badly with 11, but it really is not a huge amount of teams that all profited off the back of that one. Falcons, despite getting second place, are actually fourth in the match rankings, with Fenerbahce getting slightly higher at 11 points with those 9 elims they're able to accrue. BRA, once again, carrying on their typical and standard playstyle, which is no placement points, a load of elim.
Well, there you go. I mean, 5 teams got 10 or more points, right? None of them were Ulf, unfortunately, which would have put them over the boundary. They only got 3, so they are 7 points shy of that smash boundary. Kara on 6 and Jetgo going in lockstep with that solo play from Symphony out in the water. Sorry, it was Merciless, wasn't it? The solo player from Jetgo who survived so long and got them 6 points as well. So they are still hot on the heels there of that third place spot. The Falcons trying to make progress, but is so difficult. We'll take a look at the overall rankings. What impact has all of these points had at the start of our final day?
We're going to take a look at the overall rankings now and see how it all did pan out, as you were saying, John, with Regnum Kaya likely to be far out towards the top, which they absolutely are at 119. So it is 16 points, I believe, or 15 here if they want to get to 134. I think just putting yourself on 134 puts you in the smash ruling.
Yeah,
so it's still quite a big game they need here, right, for Regnum Kaya. I think on our angle, getting 15 points, that's not as easy as it seems, because a lot of times getting a chicken dinner is like sometimes can be 15 points minimum. So it would be a second place right now with a good chunk of elims, 9 to be exact. But Ulf, 3 points plus 4, what does that make? Make 7. 7 is not that hard at all to make happen. Let's take a look at page 2, because it is tightly fought right now on page 1 between Kara Jetko and Team Falcons for that third place and that gauntlet spot. But let's see who is attempting to catch up. And it is Asgard at 74. S2G, after getting a couple of elims that last game, do place themselves at 72. There is a lot of opportunity for jump ups right now. Remember, the target at the moment is about 90 points to sit yourself in the running for that third place. And all the way down to, I'd probably say Fenerbahce at a stretch at 67. It is possible, but we no longer have those ginormous games that Rondo typically gives us.
Yeah, well, you say that. I mean, we have had massive games not on Rondo as well, right? I think the highest we've had has been, well, actually, it was Ulf, right? They got 17 elims on match 2 of day 1 of these finals, right? Picking up a huge number of points there on an Erangel. That was a bit of an outlier, though. And of course, it comes with the caveat that is Ulf. And a lot of these teams on the back page haven't really shown that sort of power yet. We'll have to wait and see what they're able to bring to bear. But it is going to be, in my mind, a race between the top 5 to see who is going to be able to take those spots. Of course, Falcons already pretty much guaranteed to be having their regional point spot go their way. So the stakes are purely ascent for them, right? That's all that they're really going to be looking for here, is get those big games. So maybe they're going to have a little bit more freedom than teams like Kara or Jetgo.
Yeah, there is also obviously the money that's on the line here as well. Can't be taken away, is that 35 grand is a lot of cash. I think it's around 15 grand as we slowly go down the rankings, about 3rd and 4th place. So that's still a big deal for the teams in terms of prize earnings. Getting over towards PMGC is great, because damn, that does pay out big time. But it's nice to have a little bit of that extra cash come through from your fall tournament as well. Is a head-to-head between Erin as well as Loxy. As you can see, although Erin has been on an absolute tear recently, hasn't really upped those numbers massively over the last day. I think for 4.6k for Loxy, 24 elims, pretty damn good. These are efficient elims coming through. But for Erin, damn, very, very good stuff. We can see here, the survival time is the weird one, John.
Yeah, I mean, Regnum Kaya obviously surviving much deeper on average into their games. And it kind of goes into what we've talked about for Ulf, right? They have this feast and famine style, doing massive results, putting up absolutely huge numbers, and then sort of the other side of the coin not being as powerful. And that's kind of what we're seeing. And it's exaggerated because generally you don't see teams going down and into quite a lot into the game. There's a lot of sort of interesting statistics around all of this, but the bottom line is Regnum Kaya are much more consistent in terms of their longevity into the game, and Erin often denied the opportunity to stay up late.
I think that is exactly what is going to push them through to maybe even a first place spot here, is just purely their consistency in terms of getting towards the end of these matches so far, because they have been damn good at it recently. I think that for Regnum Kaya, they are a dog that you just cannot get to stop chasing you, which is typically what happens in a lot of Regnum Kaya's tournaments and how they play. They are just determined. They're a very, very determined squad.
Absolutely. They are a team that cannot be satisfied. And I think that that's something that Silas has definitely embodied over the course of his PUBG Mobile esports career. And right now, the tool that he's using, one of the best to ever do it, is using one of the best to ever be. The Infinix GT30 series, of course, for every clutch moment, you need that FPS all day for the hashtag 6R carry, as we are going to be heading in with all our players using these GT30 series phones, and they're having a great time with it. You know, we've seen some great stuff.
I mean, you talked about Silas not being satisfied with a second place, but he's certainly satisfied with this phone, the Infinix GT30 series, getting us through all of our game days here over at PUBG Mobile. We'll be heading into our next game very shortly. We're still waiting on a couple of players right now, I believe. We're currently at 62 or 64 in the lobby. Hopefully no one's trapped in the elevator again. That would be problematic.
Yeah, someone get the
getting
crowbar.
underway with it as soon as possible. Yeah, get the crowbar out, absolutely. We need one of them tough security guards to get that bad boy open. But Erangel next. More regular in terms of gameplay, less point scoring potential for a lot of our teams. I think for Erangel, it is squads like Regnum Karya, it is squads like Jetgo that I'm looking at. Kara as well. Kara is a very, very good Erangel team. And I think that I do have a slight issue with the current map rotations. As I always have, I think everyone who's listened to VCast knows I don't really enjoy having back-to-back maps every single time. And for the specific reason of, for instance, like S2G, great Miramar team. But with the Smash ruling, there's a potential they don't get to play their Miramars they just don't get to play their Miramars at all if we finish out games on map 3. So it kind of takes away teams that have specialities because they sometimes might not even be able to get to play those specialities until match 6. Again, I think that me and you are both kind of aligned that this is a tournament where it's 70%, I'll say 70% likely to go to match 6 here. I don't know how likely it is we'll get a Smash ruling.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can still technically get a Smash ruling on match 6, right? That's potential to happen. So we'll see if it doesn't change anything other than the fact that you do go to the top even if you're not in first place. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting as we take a look at our top 4 gunslingers. And of course, Loxy now in and amongst them, but all still very much dominating this page with 2 of their members already exceeding Loxy's damage. And I mean, yeah, it has been something special what we've seen from Ulf in the last 2 days. Not in that last match, maybe in this second game.
I think that although you say it doesn't change too much in that last game, if a Smash ruling does come through, sometimes it can, especially if a lobby is very volatile and say 5th place was 134 points and they get the Smash ruling, suddenly they're in Gauntlet when they weren't in it before, right?
Yeah.
That's like the big change that could happen. But there's a lot of coulds and maybes and potentialities with Smash ruling, how things work out.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to see one of those things happen because I think recently, most of the time when we get a Smash ruling, it's very inconsequential.
Yeah, and I think that the impact of a Smash ruling here was severely tempered, of course, by the fact that Ulf were, nearly 30 odd points ahead of everybody else in the entire tournament. Generally, you see the top of the tables a bit closer, ending on 12 games. Several people in that over 100 point bracket. That just wasn't the case this time around, which was fairly unfortunate for Smash Rule fans around the world, or more specifically right now in Europe, I suppose, but also around the world. If you're watching, you're very welcome. Thank you for coming. We're maybe now going to see Regnum Kai be able to do something, but it's a question of conversion, right? And maintaining. And what we spoke about with Regnum Kaya is the consistency of getting to that late game, right? And that is going to be a massive asset to them now, where they need to get 15 points. That's a big second place or a modest chicken dinner, right? Which is still quite a tall order, but definitely possible.
Yeah, and I think for Regnum Kai, they'd love to get it done here, right now. Because it would just give them so much more chance to do it the rest of the day. But then again, if they get the chicken dinner, match 2, the Smash ruling to happen, now they've had to had almost half of the games won by Regnum Kai on the day, which will be that's when we can start to talk about statistics where that is very, very unlikely to happen. Throughout the many years that we've been covering PUBG Mobile, 3 chicken dinners in a day, I think that's come around maybe 2 or 3 times. I think the main one that I remember was Vampire, EWC. But again, Vampire back then, maybe not so much now, but Vampire back then were the tippy top of the world. I don't think people understood how to play against them. And they were the first to, I think, properly utilize a full set of fraggers on a team, have good off angles. But we are getting into the game very shortly, around about 20 seconds away here before we get to see who's going to be coming out on top on Erangel. And will Regnum be able to pass that boundary? Will Ulf be able to get 7 points? I know it's a big task, but we'll see if that can happen.
And of course, you've got to remember that Regnum and Ulf drop pretty close to one another, Blank. So potential for some skullduggery there as well as we head into match number 14. Goodness me, that fraction keeps getting bigger and bigger. 14 out of 18. We're nearly there, but not quite. We've still got a little bit more to go. Playing path very south on the cut again.
And no one really enjoys these kind of playing paths either, John. It's not fun for anyone. And a lot of times when we've had these playing paths, it has been a pretty southern circle, so it hasn't mattered too much. But for instance, we get a Severny circle on this one. A lot's going to change very quickly. Teams are going to get a little bit stressed out on this. But we are over to Mills Power from Primorsk. It is easy.
Teams dropping out now. No one really getting too stuck in, and you don't expect it to be. This isn't Rondo, although, again, notably quiet Rondo that we had at the start of today. Maybe nerves, maybe teams developing their strategies. We're not going to find out, though, because we're not going to play another one here. Certainly not in this setup, not in this lobby. Ulf and Regnum, this actually does prompt this conflict a little bit more over towards that Potato Hill position. They're both going to be competing for vehicles.
Yeah, massively. Asgard even heading down towards Nova Ebnoya right now. And we get a Southern Circle. Okay. Very nice. Very easy. Especially with the Southern Circle being majority over towards the west side. So a lot of teams have got out early on the western side of the circle. We'll be able to get looted up very quickly. The only really teams that suffer here probably JetGo, Papa Supermassive, specifically Fenerbahce, who need to make their way out from Lipovka. Besiktas maybe, but I do think there's fairly easy rotational routes for them. Ulf starting in Rozhok, getting a quick pickup on the vehicle. We'll switch. Seems like Solus just likes the motorbike a little bit more.
They're just trying to get on, get looted. Regnum they dropped early, as in they got to the ground earlier. They grabbed vehicles and they're still heading up. Likely that we'll see them head in towards Rozhok, but could still be a little bit of danger depending on how fast the east point of Ulf's hold loot up. I don't imagine that they're going to be too strong on the knocks, but we'll have to wait and see. It's getting closer.
Kara 91. Again, I think I say this every single game, but I'm still so surprised that Jet goes here at 4th place, 90 points. There's a real world where Jet goes through to the grand finals into Gauntlet. I think in Gauntlet they're going to get mashed, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah, it would be an interesting dynamic to see them come in, because what we said of them here is that they feel a bit timid, right? So, well, that's certainly what I've said of them. I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but they do. For me, they felt a little bit timid, a little bit reluctant to get stuck in on opportunities when they've been presented to them, and that is not a global mindset. That is not a mindset that you can really take into the MGC and expect to do well with it. So, I think you're right on that assessment. I think, especially if they went straight to Gauntlet, I think they get absolutely rinsed. They might be able to do something in the league stages, but even there, that's going to be really tough.
Ida from Rita from Ida. Been taken down there by the Falcons as the rest of Ida attempt to come on over, but they think better of it, realizing that the player's gone. No reason to continue on that one. Ralph even looks for the chase. Goes for a couple of shots, but not much more than that. Again, very, very much a important portion of the map to try and control. Very central around Gatka. as well as Chopsticks.
Yeah, moving in, trying to take control of it. Falcons, of course, on the chase as well to go directly to Gauntlet. They've almost certainly locked down their guaranteed, at least, league stages position with the regional point system for the Falcons. So sort of no matter what, they're going to be getting that. The question is, can they make it up to top 3? And right now, they're only 3 points behind Kara in third place, which is got to be daunting. Although you've got to remember, Kara, with 2 chicken dinners, do have a little advantage on that tiebreaker.
Yeah, a slight one. And if their performance in Aragon is anything to go by, I think that likely we'll see potentially more chicken dinners coming through from Kara here. Regdom Karya, bold move out. I think they understand that Ulf likes to leave Rozhok early, sent down towards that south side, and Regdom Karya's like, fine, we'll take Rozhok for ourselves. We'll play on this north side of the map. That's a very good read, and likely a day 3 read at that.
Generally left fairly early. East, but this time they don't have fast access to it. Edip getting harried every single turn. This time it's X-Slay to rebuff them. The Falcons have taken their turn, but this time it's unscathed. And maybe that's because it's X-Slay. Maybe that's because they had a better approach.
We'll never know. Larkin picked up here. Ida down to 3, as we saw earlier from Falcons. And since then, they have just been looking for a home. And no one has been willing to give up the keys, honestly. Only 2 players do find a spot, but X-Slay are in the market. Back off. There's a loot crate really close by to them. Nobody going for it though. 6 minutes in, not much has happened. There's been a pretty bog standard game. Most teams just trying to navigate around those fields, around Gatka, trying to get into a better spot. With the usual suspects down towards the south side, like S2G controlling the northeast side of Quarry if they're coming out from Primorsk.
Oof. Split on the northern sides of Pachinki out to the West Hills as well. Regdom Karya trying to move in and around that area too. They're going pretty close to one another, so could potentially be some conflict. Papara Supermassive going further down towards that southwest side. But Eren trying to land the spray. Not going to connect this time. Not this round. And they'll get away for the time being.
Still looking for someone to stay, honestly. This is not a terrible spot for Ulf going forward. Can easily play this one out. Try some time just on that split. Not sure what that was.
So checking the spray pattern.
Guess so.
Sure, why not? S2G, they've managed to play from that southwest side, obviously in Primorsk, moving up to these hills around Quarry. Going to be fairly easy as rotate, and they'll have been there nice and early. Following on the inside of the building, though, making sure that staircase is secure. He's got it on lockdown.
Fenerbahce is making a long rotate on the north side right now. We're going to pass by Box Compound, send down towards the south. Upper Supermassive look to be just on the south side of the Falcons, which is around Gatka. I think most teams are trying to hunker down for the long haul here, knowing that this is going to be centering up around the fields. But with Pachinki now a very focal position of this circle, I don't think we've seen a proper Pachinki finish in quite a while here, John.
No, it has been a while. And actually, Ulf maintained control over a lot of the hills to the northwest side of things. I believe they've got Church under control. Not entirely sure at the moment. I'm sure we'll get a review on that. But they're starting to move around. They're trying to regroup, figure out where they can play, where they can't. Because everybody's going to be moving in now. And the hills to the west of Pachinki are pretty prime real estate. The thing that they do have going for them is that the open ground over towards the Gatka trenches is very, very difficult to navigate, and so they do have control over that. Can linearize the fights to the north and south.
It's just that it's definitely a weird zone 2 on this one, where because there is so many positions now, because we went over towards the east, that are available to play in and just aren't really that dangerous compared to the fields of Gatka. I feel like a lot of teams aren't going to get stuck in versus one another too early, unless it's to try and defend Pachinki. That's not a bad spot from Ulf, though. I don't mind that one at all.
And at the moment, it is just posturing. I mean, we've seen the second elim of the lobby for S2G. Over towards Papara Supermassive. As we enter our 11th minute. Pachinki now. 3 teams inside. Regnum Kaya lining the northeast. Probably the team with the most mobility out of their position. They can step out, rotate away with the vehicles that I'm sure they've sequestered in the alleyways. Whereas for the other two, they're going to be heading out, but towards a lot of other teams. And out on that west side, it is a lot more full, especially when you consider the open fields that sit to the west of Pachinki. It's going to be very, very difficult. But Besiktas equally could control Regnum Kaya in this spot.
I kind of like where Fenerbahce came from. I mean, they made that wide wrap on the north side, John. Ended up in the southeast edge of Everest in those compounds. Regnum Kaya looking to take shots over towards Besiktas, who are a little bit too close for comfort at the moment. As Asgard sent over towards Potato Hill. That's a tough rotate, though, through the fields. Totally understand why Regnum Kaya is trying to put the pressure on over towards Besiktas. They can't just give up this position for free.
Yes, necessary outpost, but Falcon is now up on the high ground in the building as Besiktas continue to move towards Pachinki. Circle goes southwest here, Blank. That opens the Pachinki fields to the southwest side. This is really nasty. Those Gatka fields as well extending into this valley. S2G fairly sequestered on their western side, and that ridge hill that sits poking into the west of this next circle is going to probably be a very important feature of this next phase.
Yeah, again, it's just a weird one where right now it's a super slow game. 12 minutes, only 2 players gone down. So that's an elimination every 6 minutes, which is pretty crazy. Regnum Kaya, Zedwolf does get knocked, as does Ulf. Zedwolf's down. It's going to be another one of these games, isn't it, John?
Oh, it may well be. The question is, who's going to get their big game this time around? Is it going to be Jetco finally being less timorous? We'll have to wait and see. Falcons. They're out right in the middle here on these longhouses, on the barns. And they do have a team trying to push down into them, but either they lost a player earlier, so they are playing on as 3. Regnum Kaya, they've sent Loxley and Wild out. I think there's still 1 player left over in Pachinki. So they're playing 2 and 1, but basically 2 separate squads.
It's really rough, actually, for a lot of teams with the circle coming down towards the southwest side, because you had this moment of like, we're going to have to head over towards Pachinki. We need to pick up some of these areas. Now suddenly you're sending down towards the south. Big fight between Jetco as well as Ulf, though. They do lose a player in Aaron, but they are continuing to take shots over. Fenerbahce also getting into the fray here over towards Jetco. Scarface in underneath, and it's looking like it's slightly going awry here for Ulf.
I mean, for both of these teams as well, Jetco have lost 2. There's a spray down. Kara are chiming in. No, sorry, that's a different fight entirely. Jetco's still lining up. Besiktas also moving into third party. BRA holding the staircase as hell. Able to find one of the noisy boys trying to make his way on up. And you get a little glimpse of Ulf still healing, still flagging, having a difficult time. They've only got the 1 point this match, Blank, and they still need a couple more. It's just not enough. Solus gets flushed. Aaron bleeds out. And Ketch now the last to go again for Ulf.
Oh, dear me. Dear me. Another nade hits, tags pretty hard, and Freedom's got more to throw. And it looks like Ulf will once again be going down early in the game here. And that he is. Besiktas gets involved on that one. BRA will immediately take down the entirety of TMB. And no smash point ruling.
Not yet. Not yet. Regnum Kaya still alive with 3. They've got 2 of their players right in the middle. Silas is playing completely separate. But remember, they're 15 points behind. So Ulf, maybe not. But Regnum Kaya, potentially. And this is a nasty circle as well. Fenerbahce, pretty happy about it. But I'm looking at those central houses that Falcons and Ida are scrapping over and thinking that might be one of the better spots. Unfortunately, they have to share it right now. Falcons not happy, though. Look at the nades being poured on over like a waterfall. Hops back in. Can't quite make it, though. And there's the spray down.
Regnum Kaya going for a bold move out. It's the best they can do with a bad situation. The fact that Silas has been left behind with realistically no vehicle to work with. But one player is taken out. Regnum Kaya puts 1 more on the tally. I think Silas, it's sort of a case where Regnum Kaya are playing as 2 now. I don't think Silas is getting out from that position. I think he's stuck.
Yeah, it's a very difficult route out, right? There's open fields to the southwest side of Pachinki. You know, the storm drain on the edge of Pachinki. I'm sure you guys at home have played it. It's really difficult to get across that. And if he doesn't have a vehicle, all the harder. So we'll see what their 2 in the middle can do. I think the big news after all of that, though, Blank, is that Jetco are now in 3rd place. Kara need to respond. Falcons still looking to chase him down.
Ida. Sitting pretty. Amzi will be taken down almost immediately. No clapback either as BRA sends on over with the 4 elims total.
Cooking the nade. Not going to be able to connect. There's the bleed out on Hamzy, leaving just the 1 player now standing. For S2G. Still going to give it a good go, though, but he's kind of trapped in here. You can see so many teams around him as well. Silas has been spotted. That was Besiktas catching him on the route out. We were expecting it. Didn't know when it was going to happen, but there it goes. A point earned for Besiktas.
And Kaya, you can see that. I mean, like I said, Silas is going down eventually. You're right, Besiktas will pick up that point. Asgard coming in from that eastern side. But Regnum Kaya, I think even as 2 players, there's still a good chance to put some good points on the board here. It's not an easy circle to play whatsoever. Most teams coming in are going to be battered and bruised. Regnum Kaya has the benefit of being towards the center fairly early, which means a lot of teams are going to have to fight against one another even to start having a look in over towards that position. Papra Supermassive taking down a lot of the players from Anathosis Famagusta. Down to just 2 now, and their health bars are dropping rapidly.
That is unhealthy, certainly. Papra Supermassive, though, they're taking shots, and Bagdazada's still giving it a go, trying to earn those points. Nico with the nades, looking for the spray down. Final player from S2G does get eliminated there, and they will go out in 10th, so closer to the placements yet again. Starting to build up and see what we can find. Nico moving in the wake of Lost on the bike. Nice and fast, up the hill. Pretty dangerous, though. Can go for a tumble. Make it to a shack, and they're playing nice and central. Kara. Now, this is a team that we haven't seen too much from so far this match, but Jetco have overtaken them here. With only 1 player, their point scoring potential severely diminished, but Kara needs still to put those extra points back on the board.
Kara taking shots down. Anathosis. It's the time to live on as long as possible. See here, Regnum Kaya on your screens. Loxy is locked in at the moment. Hovercraft being repaired a little bit. Very much necessary towards these circles. Regnum Kaya went for a 2-man split.
Looking to try and crash here on towards the southwest side of Falcon's position. Be nasty, especially with Ida still in the mix of things. But there's spray downs. Analversus Famagusta chiming in as well. And it is going all out, all ways. Falcon's losing one, IWNRX losing one, and a knock on the approach. Ida not really suffering too much here. And there is going to be a crash on that northern side as well. Goodness me, everyone wants to try and get involved there. X-Slate potentially trying to bite off a piece, but Papos massive slowing them down. There's 6 teams or so involved in this fight, Blank.
I mean, fair enough as well. You want to try and get in here and get as much damage done as possible, earn as many points as possible. But I think a lot of teams had the same idea at the exact same time, understanding this is one of the few areas left remaining that might give you some sort of sanctuary into the future of this match.
Ooh, okay. Another nade on in, and it's now starting to put pressure in. To make this one work. Koa, good with the pump action, will find the shot, will find the knock, and looks for the flush as well. Kain on the outside, can't really do anything about it. This is getting messy on the southwest corner, Blank. Nobody's having a good time. Falcons, they've lost 1 guaranteed, 2 more are bleeding out. Narvalo unlikely to get back up, especially with Kain standing guard.
IWNRX looking to hold on. But we are evaporating players all over the place right now, John.
That is true.
Asgard now out. Yeah, it's good news for Regnum Kaya. I mean, obviously, they would need more points, and there's one of them.
Looking to try and earn. I mean, it would be great to get over Ulf. It would be even greater to get over that 134-point smash point. That boundary beckons. But it may just be a little bit outside of Regnum Kaya's reach. Another team falls, though. We are once more closer to those placements. Jetgo closing out their game on 93 points gives Kara that clear window as to what they're going to be looking for. And actually, Kara are fairly isolated, not really getting stuck in too much right now, but the circle shifts away and out into the open, Blank.
I mean, Regnum Kaya is not too displeased about this. This is a good spot to play around them, and even as 2 players, they can really put a world of hurt on a lot of squads attempting to make their way in. And for them, if they can make their next game even easier to get towards a smash ruling position, good for them. Besiktas also attempting to hold on to some semblance of a spot towards the top, but they are taking shots from many different teams on an absolute lineup and a half.
Actually, moving in towards Besiktas, who themselves are on the chase. Fenerbahce not so much. A knock already sent over towards Besiktas makes them a little bit of a softer target, and Savian steps up for the spray down on the rock. Finds Falconist on the back line. The off angle for Besiktas is being assuaged. Now, 3 players up and kicking. I think they did get the res on the front line, and Safian has been responded on towards. That is a big help for Besiktas on this hold on the northeast side. Looking to try and keep these nades rolling and keep them flowing on up to the hill. Do they put them in for the flush, or are they trying to suppress the rest of the team? I think Septimus really wants to try and confirm this one. And maybe just add that point to the tally. Make sure that he can't be a threat anymore.
Fenerbahce downhill, sends a nade in. Not much information gathered off the back of it, though. Just layering the Molotovs down, making it uncomfortable to move. You can see here Regnum Kaya squeezed in as Loxy had to reposition. Getting to a point now where nades are going to be very dangerous for Regnum Kaya going forward.
And there we go, Kara.
Kara
Back in
John,
third.
yeah, I was going to say, yeah, back in third with 4 players. Potential for a big game here.
Definitely could be. Maybe they'll join the 100 club on the end of this one. Boran holding fairly firmly against Fenerbahce. It felt like maybe there was an inroad towards Besiktas. They had a knock. Savian found another, but it's all been picked up. It's all getting healed away, swept under the rug. Another nade in for Simple Domak. He doesn't have any more left now. The shotgun trying to find something, but the more you step out, the more Regnum Kaya could get involved. And there it is, over towards Septimus. Looking for more, it's Fenerbahce to step up with the Boran. That's 2 down now, and this is Fenerbahce's signal to go. Falconist needs to hold strong as he drops down in towards the smoke. Rookie as well at his back, and Septimus is not going to be long for it. They're going to potentially be falling here, but can Regnum Kaya extract stolen points?
what Regnum Kai needs to do, right? They just need to pick up points left, right, and center. Lewis sending in. Talon says 12k, absolutely wreaking havoc on the likes of Xley. Marceau getting up close and personal with that squad. Despite everything, Regnum Kai does make the way up towards a top 6. Loxy takes some shots with the barrel. Bit of a laser, but hard to handle at long range. But they know they're here now.
It's an ammo issue now for Loxy. He's only got 26 in the mag and then the shotgun in the back pocket. I imagine that Wild's searching through his inventory right now. Have you got any ammo for me? Can I, please let me shoot at him? Because Loxy, you know how much he loves to inflict that damage on the lobby. More so than almost everyone except for the old players.
Emre down to 31 bullets left in the backpack. And the one magazine to work with. Darkin doing a little bit better with the PP buys on. It's not the ideal weaponry.
Certainly is not. In the midst of all of that, Falcons, they're on 1, but they're on 90 points. If Kara go down, there's potential to chase, but they're unhappy because Kara are as a full 4. Sure, they're not in the circle, but they do have all of their players alive. It's them and Fenerbahce, really, that are the major players in this circle, Blank. And the fact that Regnum Kai is holding Fenerbahce at bay with just 2 of them is kind of crazy.
They also have the circle off the back of this. I mean, Fenerbahce is the big issue for that team, right? As for players, they're eventually going to get closer and closer. They desperately need Kara to turn attention towards Fenerbahce so they could potentially pick up some points towards the future. But I think Kara's more preoccupied with watching this run out, picking up elims on that side.
Ooh, maybe they should have been.
Also, Darkin finding Lewis. Oh, tough.
And getting the full flush as well. Kara now busted down to 3. That makes the threat towards Fenerbahce a little bit less. Not good news for Regnum Kai. Depending on how they want to hold it out. Kine looking to try and move across the open. It's a 1v1. It's a raw death match here. There's a bit of Fenerbahce for Wild. That could be big. But in the meantime, Koa still looking to survive. Backs off the flames. Doesn't let them lick. And will be able to survive a little bit longer. IW Ria. Where did he... Did he just go down? I don't even know what just happened there. But Koa falls as well.
That's Fenerbahce taking a knock to the 26 bullets of Regnum Kai. Para attempting to make their way across. Another knock over towards Simple Tomac. Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's see how it goes because we've got 4 teams remaining now. Regnum Kai starting to find maybe a semblance of hope, but Simple Domac, I mean, is going to get picked back up. And it just continues to be a massive ammo issue for Regnum Kai. This is so nasty. Lux has to take shots over towards Kara, who all of a sudden they're down to just 1 player.
Not terrible though. I mean, if all's said and done, Regnum Kai still might be able to get like a 3rd or a 2nd place off the back of this.
There we go. Oh my goodness. This is, I mean, this is pretty nail-biting stuff. They need a 5 Elim chicken dinner. Or in 2nd place, they would need, what is that? That's 4, so 9 elims in a 2nd place. I don't think they can get 9 here. I believe they've only got 2, but a big pickup from Matcap on a Simple Domac who's been down so many times. They don't have a lot of time to get back up and pick him up.
Oh, he's done for. Again, what's Fenerbahce's next move? Do they deal with a threat on their south side or do they push west? Like you say, I don't think Simple Domac's getting back up here now. 1 nade in the hands of Lux, but he's struggling to step up, take shots, and Regnum Kai is just sitting it out. Savian getting slightly closer as we speak, but the Blues going to start to push them in. Simple Domac does get taken down. Razy pulling the trigger. Luckily, the boys on Regnum Kai do have shotguns. There's a 2v3. It's not easy, with the nades that are going to come over towards their direction even harder.
The form factor of this shack is so important for Regnum Kai right now. The solid wall towards Fenerbahce is what's been keeping them alive for so long. If Fenerbahce try and crash, either are going to step up to the ridgeline, take those shots from Darkin up on that high ground, from the 2 players across the way. It's the approach to this shack that is so difficult. Luckily, the next circle closes central. It moves away from Regnum Kai, and everybody else will be fighting for that middle zone. But equally, they're going to have tough time getting there too.
I mean, it's going to push Fenerbahce out of this spot. Absolutely. This 1 nade, 1 Molotov that he has, the big thing. puts him through the wall there. That's unfortunate. And the Molotov doesn't do anything. The nade goes through. Doesn't seem to be too effective. Fenerbahce will find one in Ida across the way. That's a big pick-off for Fenerbahce there. Emre is now down. 11 elims for Fenerbahce. I don't believe Regnum Kai's made it this far. Matcap gets knocked as well. They're able to flush it. Another elim on side. Another Molotov sent out. And they are just getting cooked inside of this shack. Doesn't matter to them, though. Doesn't quite touch the wood, so they're fine. 28 bullets. They're getting pushed by the blue. They have to send in. Regnum Kai similarly have to move out. First nade is huge.
It's all up to Loxy. Darkin making his way in as well.
The second.
Oh, he's out. Third place, 3 minutes. It's not really big enough, but it's going to be some of the way there. As Fenerbahce do close us down with a big Elim chicken dinner of their own right. A lot of the focus was being stolen there by Regnum Kai's survival strategies. It's not going to be a smash boundary breaker, Blank, but it is going to be close. They are going to be almost level at this stage now with Ulf. It is neck and neck going into the third match.
Yeah, an absolute wild performance there coming out from Regnum Kai. Cannot believe they got it that far into the game. It's a good decision. Potentially, if they have Silas there, it's a different story. Potentially, if they even have any ammo, it's a different story. But very, very well played. I think, actually, if they have nades, they're able to nade out Fenerbahce and they're able to finish out that game. But again, so tough for Regnum Kai. Still getting 5 points as well as the 3 elims. That's 8. Like I say, that's halfway there.
That's a little dent in it. They are just another step closer. Fenerbahce putting their first placard on the monolith. And we're now pushing back our potential smash victory to maybe game 4. Of course, they need to pass that smash boundary before getting a chicken dinner. Goodness me, that was very, very intense right up until the final moments there. But again, Ulf fumbling in a couple of these situations. It's not ideal, especially when they had the easiest time of it.
Yeah, I mean, for Ulf, I think they've lost that confidence coming into today. And I think it is purely because they're worried. They're worried the pressure is getting to them. I think they were able to just play free and loose over the last 2 days, but coming into today, it's like, oh, we could win this, I guess. That does start to wear on your mind a little bit, because I think that because they came into this tournament not being one of the favorites, we had Fenerbahce, we had S2G, I mean, Fireflux have a down their look. They had that roster change. They had the team change as well. They kind of just got to play this out however they like. But now they get to the point where you need to have that mental fortitude. You really do.
Yeah, it's going to really be a big test here coming into the second half of the day. Obviously, on match 3 still to be played, but we're definitely going into the second half of our day. I mean, it's kind of crazy that this has happened. It also is very interesting that it's not likely we're going to see a 180-point day as well, right? Because that's sort of where we were thinking maybe we could end up, all things considered. But no, we are not going to have that opportunity. What we do have the opportunity for, though, is a quick break. We'll be back with our third map.
Skibidi Toilet has arrived. New Skibidi Toilet object. Powerful enemies. Thrilling battles. Protect the base. Use WoW's powerful creation tools and build defense towers to your heart's content. Engage in intense battles. Various defense towers. Earn points in battle. Unlock more defense towers. Tons of strategies. Epic battles. Play now.
You don't feel the same, wondering when it changed. Did you come to play, my baby?
And our players are heading back to their seats. They need to get locked and loaded, get into that lobby as fast as they can, because we've got more games to play, more PUBG Mobile to be diving headfirst into, or whichever bit first you so choose, because the smash point boundary is still intact. It has not been shattered so far. And it is still, though, very much on the cards for two of our teams now, where maybe it was only one before.
Yeah, it's kind of, I always find it annoying where these games just do not go the way you want, and like the top place team fails to earn 10 points over 2 matches. I mean, you always expect it to happen at some point, because the thing is, what's going to happen now is Ulf's going to win this next game, and then they will win no others. But they will win the game. They need to get them onto Smash ruling. But that's it.
Yeah, maybe that could be certainly the case. We'll have to wait and see, though, because we do have plenty of other teams looking to try and make their way up the tables. I mean, we saw Fenerbahce able to get a pretty big chicken dinner there, and whilst they're probably still very much definitely still very much an outside chance for the top of the tables, it's getting a little bit easier as time goes on, right? That boundary between Carrot and Jetgo still fairly firm. The Falcons as well, trying to push on up there. It's getting a little bit out of reach for a lot of our teams, but Fenerbahce getting a chicken dinner. What was it, like 16 elims or something? A pretty high elim count chicken dinner. I mean, it could actually put them in the running here.
Yeah, it could do. And I think that there's quite a few of our teams that I'm excited to see do well. I mean, for Regnum Kari, it's kind of frustrating considering they've had like 2 pretty damn good games, yet still aren't on Smash ruling off the back of that. I'd love to see them make it happen, but right now it's just not the case. In the future, though, we may see something better come out of the likes of Fenerbahce, S2G, who are really trying to keep up. I think Fenerbahce is doing a good job today, honestly. It hasn't been like super standout performances, but especially from that last game, it was pretty well played. I mean, very tough until the last moment. And you're so right to call out the fact that shack and the direction that Fenerbahce was coming over to it was so well. I don't want to say it was divined from the guys on Regnum Kari, but they did have a very strong spot. I don't think it was the case that they knew a team would be coming from that location and it was going to be the one thing that sat between them and victory, but either way, still very good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's difficult to manufacture that sort of scenario. But again, if they'd had ammunition in that scenario, right, they're taking at least a good chunk out of Fenerbahce, right? They're peaking that. They're taking those spray downs because they can fairly safely res. They knew that, I think it was Ida, right, on the south side, weren't going to be able to peak too much until Fenerbahce left. I do think if they had, 100 more ammo, this is a different game.
Yeah, very much so. I think they're able to take more shots, be more proactive as Fenerbahce was coming in, which would have been cool. But let's take a look at the match stats from that last game where people ended up. We did have Darkin at 1100 damage from Ida. That's kind of surprising. But it is Lux from Fenerbahce who was able to get the most elims in that game.
Yeah, 1.126. I mean, they were in the really hotly contested buildings that we saw the Falcons having a tough time on that 6-team engagement. They were involved in all of that as well. So maybe not too far flung for him to be able to have achieved such high damage numbers there for Ida. And Darkin, I believe, was also the last player to stand for them. He was trying to make that dash out in the open after they had been taken down a notch. Let's take a look at our winning stat lines here. Savian breaking the 1,000 damage barrier as well.
Yeah, it's actually crazy that Savian was able to get 1,000 damage done. Maybe Lux was just stealing away a lot of those eliminations from him, but he was able to really pump out some big damage that game. I think Fenerbahce, credit to them, credit to all the teams playing that game because it's not an easy match to play. I think it was a pretty disgusting area of Erangel to have to go to. Yeah, they all stuck it out. They all tried to push it through right to the end. I think Ida had the worst of it. They were constantly in battles the entire time, and they were struggling through. By the time they get to that area, they know that realistically they need to take the fight with Fenerbahce. But I think they were worried about Regnum Kari taking shots. Fenerbahce obviously seemed scared, but that was because they had no sight lines on them. And I think that the fact that Ida was like, oh, Fenerbahce don't want to push them, so that must be like a 4-4-man squad. We got to be worried. So they don't push down towards Fenerbahce for that reason, where I absolutely think that if that was the case, Regnum Kari would have sat back and be like, you guys take that fight. We're not getting involved.
Thank you very much, Bilgehan. We are joined by Bora, one of our lovely PUBG Mobile fans. And you know what? He also works as a taxi driver at Ankara as well. So I want to ask you, how did you start playing PUBG Mobile? And how do you find the balance between working and playing PUBG Mobile at the same time?
PUBG Mobile oynamaya ne zaman başladın diyor. Bir de hani Ankara'nın trafiğinde falan böyle nasıl dengeliyorsun yani vakit nasıl buluyorsun oynamaya? Bunu soruyorum.
Öncelikle PUBG Mobile oynamaya arkadaşlarımın önerisiyle başladım. 5 veya 6 yıl önce. Ankara'nın trafiği yoğun oluyor evet ama durakta sıra beklerken, müşteri beklerken vakit geçirmek için oynuyoruz genelde.
Müşteri geldiğinde ne yapıyorsun?
Müşteri geldiğinde belki biraz bekletiyor olabiliriz.
So, my friend recommended the game to me around 5 or 6 years ago, and honestly, driving around Ankara, the traffic is wild. It's crazy. So, you know, there's always a chance, there's always an opportunity for me to get a couple of games in. And when someone, like, when I have someone jump in the taxi, I sometimes make them wait. I finish the game, and then I take them on the ride. And you know what? I like that. You know, he has his priorities in order. Finish the game, and then get the job done. Now, is there a favorite team that you're supporting here at the competition?
Desteklediğin takım var mı? O takımdan çok destekliyorum.
En favori takımım şu an için taraftarı da burada S2G'yi destekliyorum.
I don't think I need a transition for that one. It's pretty obvious. He's a massive fan of S2G, and we have a lot of them with us in the crowd today. Now, I want to ask you, do you think that, can you tell us if there was a specific moment that you realized that PUBG Mobile has become more than just a game?
Mobile'ın senden oyun olmaktan çıktı ve senin artık vazgeçmeden olduğunda nasıl oluyor?
Yani şöyle ilk başta turnuvaları izlemeye başladığımda artık tamamen bir tutku, tamamen bir hobi olmaya başladı. Takımları tanıdıkça sevmeye başladık. Tabii kılaşanlar oluyor, güzel oluyor onlar. Bir de Barış Çiğ'nin yayınlarını da tabii takip etmeye başlayınca artık bu tamamen hobi olmaya başladı diyebilirim.
I started by watching a few esports competitions when it comes to PUBG Mobile, and I was just pulled by the community, by the plays, by the clutch moments, and then I started watching a lot of streamers as well, and now I can't stop watching the competitions as well, and I'm very happy to be here. Now, have you ever had someone, I want to say, you know, a passenger who jumped in the car with you and who also plays PUBG Mobile, and you end up talking about the game as well?
Enteresan bir soru diyor ki PUBG Mobile oynamayı seven veya oynayan bir yolcu aldın mı? Onunla böyle bir sohbetiniz oldu mu?
Tabii ara sıra denk geliyor PUBG Mobile insanlar. Sohbet etmeye başladığımızda yolculuk çok hızlı geçiyor. Nasıl zamanın geçtiğini anlayamıyoruz. Sohbetlerimiz de güzel oluyor. Hatta şöyle bir durum oluyor. Numaramızı alıp size abone olup bizimle sürekli seyahat etmek isteyen insanlar oluyor. Bu oyunun çok bağlayıcı bir gücü var gerçekten. Çok memnunum o yüzden.
You know, it happens sometimes where we end up talking about the game, and just because we end up chatting the whole time, the ride just flies by. And you know, sometimes we actually add each other and we play together as well. Again, it's just one of the ways that we see PUBG Mobile bringing everyone together as a community, and I love to see that. One final question for you: if one day you find yourself driving and a PUBG Mobile World Champion was in your taxi, what would you want to say to them?
Bir gün arabana dünya şampiyonu bir PUBG Mobile oyuncusu binerse neden olur? Ne dersin?
Öncelikle başarısı için tabii tebrik ederiz. Daha sonra sormamız gereken birkaç soru var. Bunu nasıl başardı? Nasıl bu şekilde ünlendi? Nasıl kendini geliştirdi ve belki bize de birkaç tüyo verirse biz de bir şeyler yapabiliriz.
I mean, first of all, I congratulate them on their success on reaching such a high level. But then I have so many questions. Like, how much time did you put into the game? How were you able to reach such a high level? And how were you able to compete against some of the best players? And you know what? If I get the chance, once we're done, maybe here, maybe at PMSL, I will ask those questions for you. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on this interview. We've finished 2 games so far. Our third awaits. And we still don't have a team that passed the smash point rule. So we're still waiting for our champion to be crowned.
I have attention. Do not play PUBG Mobile when you drive the car.
Yes, yeah, don't do that.
Yes.
PUBG Mobile oynarken araba kullanmıyor.
Kesinlikle hayır.
Evet, heyecan devam ediyor. Davut'un da söylediği gibi az maç kaldı. Tekrar analiz masasına gidelim. Gerçekten bundan sonra neler olacak inanılmaz merak ediyoruz.
Back to the analysts we go, and back into the action we continue.
Well, there you have it. It's in all facets of life. It's coming at you everywhere. It's PUBG Mobile. You guys can get involved, whether you're in a taxi, whether you're on a plane, more difficult on a plane, or whether you're on the grand final stage here at the PMSL EU. That is what we are looking at today. That smash boundary still intact, but there are two teams knocking on the door of it. It's very, very closely fought. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that last match.
There was some good highlights as well. I'm actually lying to you. There really weren't. It was quite a slow game, honestly. I think that just purely via position on the map, like it's a tough game. It's a tough game to play. Regnum Kaya, they had really no choice. I think that was the last nade as well from Fenerbahce that came out to finally finish things off. But Fenerbahce, as soon as they were able to dismount Regnum Kaya, they were able to leave, which is very nice for them. 24 points total that they were gaining on that one. Regnum with 88 points total. Kara getting 8 as well. Good points for Kara overall, despite only I think that's a 4th place they're able to get there. Still 8 points added to their total does keep them in the running for that 3rd place.
Yeah, it certainly does. As does the Falcons, 6 points. As does, everyone around that bubble really looking to try and keep hold of their chance. But Fenerbahce jumped up a huge amount on that. 24 points there. Let's take a look at where that's landed them. On the overall rankings, they are going to be elevated. Certainly, I think off the back page, the question is, how far have they gone?
Regnum Kaya very close now. 1 point behind Ulf, with Kara Esports still just about in 3rd place at 99, 7 points ahead, both Team Falcons and JetGo. Like I said, I think Team Falcons, although they don't always have the craziest of performances, and they're never quite in the limelight, they are a force to be reckoned with, and they just constantly remain as a good team. I think that they've got a lot of international experience. They have some very good rotates, as we see constantly come through from this team. You got to be proud of them if you are a Falcons fan. Well done to Team Falcons. We'll take a look at page 2 now to see which teams can still chase, but we are getting towards the end of our day now, halfway point after this next match. BRA, 22 placement points, but 57 eliminations. Clear and away ahead of most other teams here, other than, I guess, Asgard as well. But yeah, for BRA in the future, they absolutely need to fix some of their rotates. They need to fix their mid to late game. That is definitely an issue for them, is getting towards those later portions of the matches. I mean, we're almost into 15 total matches right now. It's not looking good. I mean, that's like a 2 placement, maybe like a 3 placement point per game average right now for BRA. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, on 14 matches, it's sub 2.
I think it's even less.
Yeah, on 14 matches,
I
it's sub 2, because that would be 28 would be 2 points a match. So they're lacking 6.
I was like, 2 seems really low, so I'm not going to say 2, but yeah, you're right. It's bad.
It's 1 3/8, whatever that fraction goes into. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. But then again, I mean, the Falcons, I think they only had 28 placement points after all of this, right? So it's not too much. Yeah. Too much gap there. They actually notably had a lot of eliminations, which is interesting, right? Because we've talked a lot about Ralph being a really solid IGL who's had great strategies in the past, but it's kind of a little bit on show that maybe he doesn't quite know how to rotate around this lobby. It's not I'm not going to lump all the blame onto him. The Falcons don't seem to know quite how to get into these later games. I mean, obviously, if you compare them against someone like Regnum Kaya, they had 51 placement points at the top of the tables, which is like at least 12 to 15 more than anybody else on the placement points. Silas absolutely has this read like a book. Like, he knows exactly what's going on. But the Falcons, not so much, in that same sort of similar vein to potentially to Bra.
Yeah, I think that for the Falcons, it's just a case of, and you're right not to lump all the blame onto Ralph, because, at the end of the day, it is a team game. There is team decisions that are happening. So for the rest of them, it's not always Ralph. Ralph's making the call at the end of the day, but it is the rest of the team who's discussing and suggesting what they should do next. But overall, I think the Falcons could make it in towards the top 3, especially because all of our squads at the top just are unable to get towards that smash point.
Yeah, it's been a little bit faltering. I mean, to be fair, Regnum Kaya seem very able, right? Like they've actually made a huge ascendancy. Let's not throw them in with Ulf on this one. It is just Ulf who has been faltering so far at the start of today. Regnum Kaya getting into a third place guarantee, a third place on that last match. Ulf going out way earlier, despite approaching from similar directions. Regnum Kaya getting the chicken dinner on the first match of the day as well, with a really big elimination count to boot. They seem to be the ones with the pace to them. Sure, they're a point behind now, but where will we find ourselves at the end of match number 3 on the day, match 15 of our 18-game set?
Yeah, we're getting to the point now where we are coming to the close of Erangel's. We are heading into the game right now as lane path underway. And it is heading over the top side of the map. Oh, no, it's from Primorsk all the way up towards Kameshki. It's an interesting one. But I think this is more of a reasonable playing path, I would say, compared to many of the others.
Yeah, it's definitely more favorable than all the south cuts we've been seeing. But areas like Lipovka may be difficult to get over towards, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And it's much better, of course, for our two key teams, our Ulf and our Regnum Kaya, who will be seen around the middle of the map. And we'll see if they return to normalcy. Expect Regnum Kaya and Rozok. Expect Ulf further south of that, school and apartments on that split.
Well, honestly, Ulf's been the one who's taking a lot of control over Rozok recently. I think it's Regnum Kaya who's just been like flitting into Rozok after Ulf's leaving, which is more a case of something that's been happening recently today. Because they do both fight over it for quite some time. I think that Ulf is now giving space on that position. You can see here that like the rest of Regnum Kaya do drop a little further down towards that south side, and they have one outpost over towards the north. Ulf very close by. Looks like they're dropping down towards the south side now around school. Getting forced out. Again, yeah, I think Ulf just doesn't want to take the smoke this early.
Fairly content for now. Circle up towards, well, kind of the middle of this whole shebang. Well, why not? Let's keep our tournament leaders in the middle. See what they can do with that. They don't need that many points, but it seems like the circle's going to help them out a little bit there. No military circle. Only one team on the military island as well. That's, the Noisy Boys going to be maintaining themselves there. Ulf. Just going to be grabbing these split loots.
Yeah, pretty lovely stuff. I think for TMB, it's been a little bit of a while since they've had Sosnovka to themselves, with a lot of playing paths heading over towards that south side where teams are forced to play on that south side along with them, which is always the most fun, in my opinion.
Yes. It can be pretty tricky, but not favorable. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. We just had word that it's coming back to us, potentially, which means that maybe for the first time in these finals, we might have had a full start on the drop.
But only 2 minutes. So it's not, we're only 2 minutes of the match. It wasn't a huge problem. I think most teams are fine to wait around a little bit longer. Not one of those things where, you know, every single team has suddenly got 4 elims. There's 4 important teams already out of the game. Yeah, this is fairly early remake. It's just a bit of a weird one where I guess it's all right for a lot of teams where they get to see roughly what would happen if we get a more northern playing path, a more northern circle.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? On a remake, we've had a decent playing path and an okay circle, a pretty good circle. Now we're going to get hard north playing path, military island circle. It's just how it's going to go, you know, which would be very, very interesting, actually, especially. A situation like that might actually be better for the teams at the top, right? Because they're not necessarily looking to win right now. They just want to earn a couple of points, and getting stuck into the muck of a messy rotation set can profit you the 6-7 points that you need on these fights.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just a frustrating one, especially for Regnum Kari and Ulf, where they just don't have. It's a case where they're so close to the smash ruling that it's frustrating for them, where this game just really doesn't mean too much to them. Obviously, if they went down with 0 points, it's a problem, but it's not too difficult to play it really safe, play it really slow, and just get smash ruling. But you're also allowing other teams to catch up now by doing that, because there is no guarantee that this is going to be going through until the last. There's no guarantee that this is going to end early, right? There's no guarantee that someone's going to get the smash ruling in place. So by playing slow and timid and getting like a 5 or 6 point game, which is perfectly possible for both Ulf and Regnum Karya, it just requires a slightly different playstyle. You're having this situation now where other teams are able to profit on those matches, and you come match 6, and because you didn't go for the 10, 12 point game in match 3, one team might be ahead of you by 6 points and takes first place. It's all these things have run-on effects.
Yeah, it's it's all such a big dynamic system, right? You've got 16 moving parts, and in each of those 16 moving parts, you've got 4 further moving parts. So degrees of freedom are pretty insane. We're just taking a look at what information we've got about getting this lobby going. But we are waiting for everyone to get back in. We're not too sure what caused the restart, what caused the remake, but we're getting it sorted as soon as possible.
Indeed we are. But we'll be probably back in around about 7 or 8 minutes. So if you guys want to get something, do something else, you can do. Or you can listen to us half on. I might bring up my Kraken stories again. But be careful.
Oh, careful. Yeah, that's
careful now.
That's dangerous territory. Right there. You don't want to be getting involved with that. Much rather be getting involved with the crowd here. They are absolutely phenomenal. They've been on fire over the course of yesterday and today. Of course, all the more. I feel like the Cara fans, certainly with more to cheer about. That's not going to stop the S2G fans, I'm sure. They're still going to be as loud, as exuberant as ever. And Bra's got a little section as well, over on the right-hand side. Look at that.
Yeah, no, Bra actually coming out in force. It's a small section.
I love the elims.
A super aggressive team coming through. S2G still cheering on. Yeah, they're not number 1. I'm sorry. It's not the case. Maybe a third at best. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they are really kind of out of it at the moment. They are about 20 or more points behind the bubble, up towards third place. I think it was 99 with Kara in third place. They are on 73 right now. So being that far behind the bubble, being 26 points behind with 4 matches left to play, that's pretty nasty. That's not something you want to be facing down. And you've got to remember that's a moving target. It's not just getting those 26 points in those 4 matches. It's getting 26 more points than Kara in those 4 matches.
Yep, it is. We're getting ready to get into our third game once again. Which should be happening shortly. See the crowd. Full display. Nice packed building, honestly.
Absolutely.
I hate to be the security guards just stood on the stairs though. Right calf workout.
I'm sure they got it on lockdown, you know. They are ready to deal. They don't want to get too big for their boots. And hopefully our players are too. Just waiting on heading on in. Building up the tension. They want to get in. Actually, I'm not sure if they do. They're having a great time, just sort of chanting back and forth at each other. I wonder who's winning. I wonder who's winning in the crowd.
Yeah, I know. Seems like we're getting back into the game pretty shortly. Zooming straight into this one. And we're back in. Lovely stuff. Over towards our goal.
All right, our playing path this time is going to be coming from the south. It's a deep south cut, blank. It's a deep south cut plane again. We're going from Primorsk over towards the Miltopau Peninsula, this time just touching over the military base. Goodness me. They love it. They love a south plane path. That must be why they did the remake, you know? Just to make sure you've got that plane all the way on the south side. It just has to happen, apparently.
I know. I mean, this is a horrible plane path. I mean, most teams are probably quite frustrated about this. Going from Primorsk up towards Stalba to now getting a south plane path it does really suck for a lot of our teams. Probably quite a few heading down towards Sosnovka, I can imagine.
There's definitely going to be that scrap, Anathosis Famagusta dropping on over. But I feel like at this point, they're very aware of each other's presence. I'm more interested in where the circle's going to go, right? We've seen bridge camps happen, more by Anathosis Famagusta, because the Noisy Boys do tend to just maintain C block. And Anathosis Famagusta stay out very late in order to catch them if they think they're going to get away with it. Everybody else dropping out as well. Of course, Ulf and Regnum Kaya, still eyes on them. They're going to have to make that same rotation, grab those vehicles up towards the north. And it's an east side circle. Almost certainly not going to be a military island finish on this one. But you never know. You never know. It could still be. More likely, though, we're going to be seeing ourselves outside of Milta, up towards the north, potentially up towards Shelter, this sort of area.
I mean, Eastern Circle here is not bad, right? It's really not bad. Doesn't encompass a lot of Sosnovka, so we do cut out a lot of playing space early, though, because I think a lot of teams won't want to be playing in that area of the map anyway. So they're likely more to be a case where I'm just fast forwarding my map feed, catching back up.
Oh, making sure you're on live rather than backwards compatible research. Asgard. In the meantime, whilst you catch up, are on that Novo position. Could potentially be a roadblock for the two teams on the south side. Or maybe the Noisy Boys are going to try and go west again, and Anathosis Famagusta are going to catch them again.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's quite a few teams, actually. I mean, I said this last time, right? There was no real reason for multiple teams to be in Sosnovka, but this time around there is. Going back to my original point, this is one of the cases where a lot of teams are going to be moving across over towards north side of this circle. Not a massive reason to play in Sosnovka other than at the beginning of your game.
Yeah, it's unlikely to be headed back over there. I mean, I give it maybe a 5% chance that it's a Sosnovka finish. I think that it's very, very unlikely that we will be ending up there, but on a 5% chance, that means, 1 in every 20. 1 in every 20, it happens. Unlikely, though. We'll have to wait and see. The question is, what will teams on the south side do? Because on that 1 in 20 chance, you basically win the game. So is that worth it on average to make that play? Or, because of the lack of games remaining, is it just going to be too much pressure, go for a more consistent strat?
Yeah, it depends, if you're... I think it mostly depends, if you're blocked out. For instance, if TMB gets ahead of Asgard early, Asgard just makes that play to stay down on that south side. Doesn't always guarantee you the win just being on Sosnovka. I've seen a lot of teams don't really do too much. I think that most time in the past where it guaranteed a win was back when Stalwart played in over at Neuer. So if it comes down towards Sosnovka, this is a insanely good team. They know this position. They know exactly where they need to go to have the best spot and the best chances going forward. But a lot more recently, the teams that actually play Sosnovka are the ones that have get cut out most of the good spots on the northern side of the circle.
Going to be difficult spots to cut out as well. They're on funneling in fairly soon. We're coming up to minute 5. Boys, spotted one. Tries his own in. Pops the swap. And will be defending the observatory. Zarturf. Interesting decision, though, for both of these two teams to compete over this location. I would have thought they'd be more worried about getting across the bridge, but having control over this spot does give you a bit more safety getting over the bridge, I suppose.
Hovercraft gone immediately for Asgard, which is a really rubbish start to their game. Especially when you really want that hovercraft to get across both the water and also give you ample cover going into that mid-game portion.
Are the Noisy Boys just convinced that if they stand on an observatory, they win games? Do you think that's what's happened here?
Yeah, man.
They're like, we're going here. We're going to win the game. You'll see. You'll all see. And now it'll be a Sosnovka circle, and we'll be fine. Also, maybe TMB are going to get the chance to overtake the Boars after all on their regional points.
S2G still in Primorsk, so I think it's quite the wait here. I think a lot of times when you play Primorsk, because it has a great loot pool anyway, you want to get as much loot as possible and then start moving. I know that there's the case where there might be teams ahead of you, but there's certainly a big capability to start moving much faster than this.
And it is important. Getting on the road nice and quickly can be important, especially when, as you highlighted earlier, there's a bit of a limit to playable ground here. Although we are still in phase 1, I think it's more likely that stage 2 will restrict pretty dramatically over the course of things. All three teams on the south have stayed put. Right, Anastasis Famagusta, Asgard, and the Noisy Boys all have decided to stay on the military island for now. And I don't think that they're going to be able to get across to the roads. Certainly not easily at this stage. Kara are on the far side. That's going to be a difficult barrier to try and push through. Maybe they go for a botation, but without the hovercraft, Asgard's options a little bit more limited.
Asgard on that south side. Tough stuff. I mean, they can move across now, but the Anathosis getting ahead of them, as well as getting ahead of TMP. I think you are right in the sense that I think TMB is just determined to try and stay on Novaya, at least Sosnovka, as long as possible and hope that Circle comes down this way. But the amount it leans over towards the north side, I find it very unlikely for that to be the case, John.
Yeah, it's pretty much guaranteed not to be on the island, right? 100%. Never going to be on the military island. It just never happens. Never, ever has it happened on a circle like this. We're going to find out where the next zone comes on in. You can see that timer counting down on the top of your screens, or the side of your screens, depending on what orientation you're looking at. We will see where we are going to end up going. Nobody going down just yet in this game. No one really having too much trouble sent their way, except for that early scrap on the south. X-Slay takes it down from the blue zone as they enter late. All right. We're going over to the west. We're keeping Potato Hill in. We're keeping that farm area in. This is good for S2G. And the rest of the players are all descending now.
Yeah, they certainly get lucky off the back of that. And are happy with it. But it's a massive amount of unplayable space, right? Huge amount of war involved. Still a little bit of Sosnovka involved there. Anathosis is going to get ahead of both TMB and Asgard very comfortably. Depends on how hard PRA, Kara want to hold them out. It's pretty even at the end of the day. You see a hovercraft there on your screen as Kara begins to take some shots.
And Kara in third place, but not safely. We're going to try and extract as much value as they can. They're right next door to Bra, Besiktas as well. They're close by on the opposing compound here. Looks like they are going to come in. Storm tries to guide the hovercraft to safety. Kishu takes a bit of damage, but CEO can't quite connect fully on that spray down. So they will begin to entrench themselves. Neither of these two teams is going to crash the other, I don't imagine. But we'll see what Besiktas and Bra are going to do on their standoff here. Maybe Kara will third party if the fight starts to pop off.
I think Kara, they've got such a nice position as well that they're typically going to try and hold on to this for as long as possible. They're further off towards the west there. I think that you want to try and maintain as central as a position here as possible because rotates are a little bit difficult around Farm and Milter. It's quite easy to get caught off guard, but you'll take shots where you can. Asgard's opting to go for, I think, a western bridge rotate, which I'm... And TMB's still on observatory. For why?
Yeah, I've no idea, man. They sent all of them up there as well. They're just like, we're just going to sit here. We're just going to see what happens. I guess they were trying to get points over towards the two teams leaving, but at this stage, there's no one else here. You've just got to go. Is Mars gonna bait him? Are they gonna bait him? Are they gonna pretend to go for a Westbridge rotate, draw them down, and then turn around and kill them?
I don't know. I don't really know what either of those teams are doing right now. Like, for me, you could be mind gaming the hell out of each other for all I care. They need to get in the circle. That's the primary goal of the game.
They're just wiggling about over there.
Yeah, so I am confused. I am very, very confused. But we are more concerned with what's happening on this north side with IWNRX fairly central. They still haven't been able to climb too much. Those are our three teams that haven't done terribly, honestly. I think getting anything over a 50-point margin here in the finals is decent. I don't think we've had any one team that I've thought to myself did not deserve to be in the finals one bit. But those are the two. Those are the three teams that just aren't getting in. But yeah, this next circle heads all the way towards that north side. It's kind of not that bad, honestly. I think most people assumed it would be locking in over towards one of the areas here, and it locks into most of the teams. The teams that are really suffering here are Falcons, Ida, potentially. X-Slay's got to move in. Ulf's going to wrap around on the north side. But these guys still need to get 6 points.
This fight continues to pitter on. The Noisy Boys and Asgard yet to even find a knock. Akra, finally! First blood is drawn in the engagement. And that is a point for one of these two teams. Maybe one of the very few points they see this game, because they are really cutting off their nose despite their face and staying down here so long. Regnum Karya made a crazy fast rotation right towards the central farm compounds blank during that shift we just saw, and they managed to get through again without taking too much damage. These reads on the lobby continue to be really very effective. You can see them now on the northwest point with that farm complex, and they are in a really solid spot here.
Regnum Karya, like you say, really good spot for them. Mozero knocks himself on the vehicle. Anathosis will finish off the remainders.
Ooh,
again, for Asgard, they would have had a much, much better time just taking Westbridge, trying to rotate in that way. TMB was never getting across this bridge anyway. What have you done this for? Ideally, one elim? Was it worth it? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's gone fairly badly. Fairly badly, all things considered. Falcons, they haven't had the best of times either. They've been busted down to 2. Although they have managed to get 1 point, that's not going to be enough to see themselves up. And with Carrot getting knocks over towards Brat, that's, again, unfavourable. A nade. Oh, Navallo. Doesn't quite connect. Has another one, though. Steps in the back pocket, steps out wide. That is too bold. What do you think you're doing there?
And good damage,
Navallo immediately humbled. Well, yeah, actually, hang on a minute. Okay, yeah, fine. Okay, that's allowed. Get loads of points. Well, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, losing a player there is unfortunate. First nade was good because it knocked the door off, right? And then I don't think they expected him to peak for the second nade. Yeah, at least get 3 elims. But it's just Redox remaining, which is really sad. And Kara is starting to get some points on the board, and they just hit the century there. 100 points accrued for Kara over this finals. This is easily looking like a Regnum Karya win. Which is unfortunate, considering last game.
Imagine if they'd have passed the boundary in that last game as well, right? Like, this would be absolutely insane that this is happening. I'm also still wary of Ulf, right? They're on that northeast side, and they are rotating down now towards Milta, trying to move into the hills on the east edge of this next circle blank. But still, this farm complex is just such a difficult position to be moving in and around now that most of its corners are filled with deadly players.
Yeah, I think for Ulf, they are trying to rotate as far out on that eastern side as possible, limiting vision away from a lot of our teams. They may run into Anathosis from Augusta, needing 6 points to get towards the Smash ruling. Ideally more. Again, though, for Regnum Kai, if they win this game, it's not the end of the world. With the way that we're seeing Ulf play, they might not get to Smash ruling until game 4. So for Regnum Kai, it's not terrible if they get a chicken dinner here. It just means that they will set themselves in first place. 35 grand almost secured. Got a few more games to play after this one to make it happen.
At the moment for Regnum Kaya, I think the north side resolving is the most dangerous thing that could happen right now. There's 3 teams up here who are on board with Papyrus Supermassive. Of course, you've got Jetgo, and further out west, you've got Ida, who are trying to make things happen. Oh, okay. S2G, fine. Sure. That's 130 for Regnum Kaya. Didn't even see them coming in, but they've gone immediately. Evaporation sent their way by Silas and Wild.
Yeah, and it's the first time we see Ulf dismounted from first place. So Regnum Kaya now our first place team inside the lobby at 130. 4 more points required for them to set themselves towards the top. Merciless also getting knocked by them. Ulf finds Fenerbahce, that's Savian. That's a backstab coming through from the east side as Ulf really huffs and puffs to try and catch up.
They definitely need to be big and bad in this game to try and make sure, well, it looks fairly certain now that Regnum Kaya are going to, with their position, be able to pass that smash point boundary. Still need 6 points. Ida trying to get out of there. IWNRX going to let them. They didn't manage to connect on the spray down, unfortunately, but where do they go? Where can they try and make their way towards? Because it is just open season. And there's a 4 point as the Regnum Kaya tally. The rest, not too sure where they added up on towards, but they've gone to the lobby nonetheless.
Yeah, Macap just, I think, again, out of the vehicle too quickly, runs himself over, and goes down. 3 more points is all it'll take. But you're right, I think for Regnum Kaya's position, it's highly likely we're looking at least a podium finish here for them. And even if it does switch down towards the southeast, the only team, I mean, I say team, player in one of those southern buildings in Farm is Redox and Falcons. So that is more open than potentially teams assume.
Ulf now starting to get stuck in on the southeast side. Can they earn their 6? First nade over to Wagnerzada. That will be a knock for Scarface. Hopefully they can confirm that and get those points starting to flow, because they've got that high ground, but they do have to leave it. 30 seconds they've got over here.
Circle heads over towards Regnum Kaya.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like a Regnum Kaya win here. Again, that would mean if they were to hit Smash Ruling today, it would be 3 chicken dinners, which would be insane.
It really would. 3 overall. Yeah, they managed to obviously open up with a big chicken dinner. Only a 3rd place in the 2nd match. 3rd match, though, back on top. There's a point. There's a point for Ulf. As we come up towards that 130 mark, they've started their game. And they are still on the hunt. But their next move, I think, is going to be one of the most crucial that we'll see from them. How effective can they be there?
Russian pose over towards Asgard. Akron being a little bit too aggressive. Jetgo getting pulled apart by Papa Supermassive. Nico doing some good work for his team. Only Kamikaze lost there. 6 elims now for Papa Supermassive. They are so in the open, John.
Yeah, it's this smoke that's keeping them safe. They do have that little mound that sits in front of them, but you can hear the bullets whizzing overhead as they try and survive for as long as they can here. Just put themselves back together. IWNRX out to the west side, yet to really make their move, but it's Kara who are dominating on the south as they open the cannons, along with Asgard over towards Anathosis Famagusta. The remnants of our teams moved late from Sosnovka, and they are really not finding their feet here on the mainland.
Macron, Asgard got set down earlier on, back up. Opts to not make the same mistake. It's back inside the safety of ceilings.
Ulf have managed to get in. Nades from Asgard, though. There's 4 players who know that they're here. They're waiting to try and find these angles. Shots as well over towards Ulf's position. The step up from Asgard is pretty dangerous, though, because you've got Kara to worry about. You've also got Fenerbahce off in the distance. So Ulf are being kept a little bit safer by that, but it's still very precarious. The split that they have, not terrible either, but they're expending so many smokes to stay here.
Kara, Southwest, playing it out for as long as possible. Remember, this is our 3rd place team looking to catch up and set themselves apart from the likes of Falcons in 4th place, who are now very, very close to overtaking. We're only Fenerbahce chasing at 91, looking fairly decent. And I think Fenerbahce on the next circle will have a tough time of it as they attempt to leave. Regnum Courier still has Silas playing on the south side of them, playing as early warning system for a south side push from Kara. The next circle, I think, does head over their way, but favors Kara much, much more, alongside with Ulf, I suppose.
This is potentially going to help Ulf's position. Remember how difficult it has been for them to play. They're right up against the wall, but you remove that east side threat, which is going to have to resolve, which is going to have to move. All of a sudden, they can use those ridges as actual cover, rather than just trying to hide behind the vehicles and sandwich themselves between those 2 spots. I do think it's, yeah, you're right. I think this is going to favor Ulf. It's going to help them out.
And it's one of the situations where Ulf is playing, they're protected by Kara. Their issue will come from the east in Fenerbahce, Besiktas, as well as Falcons. They have a lot to hold out and over a lot of open ground. They have 4 players to do it, though. That is the major grace that they're given. Is getting 4 players to this spot that you need multiple sightlines to work with. Depends how aggressive Asgard want to get. Only 30 bullets here. Ooh. I don't know how Scarface is still alive.
There it is.
Finally gets taken down.
Oh my goodness. What a swivel. What a switch up. Of course, it's Eren. He's making it work. In the meantime, Fenerbahce, Lux, the last player of the Falcons to deal with, but he's already inside the house. Not to matter. A shot to the gut puts him down, but Fenerbahce now on 2. Besiktas looking around the corner. Falcons are out. The placement points have kicked in as well, Blank. That's really important for our teams at the top. 3 points away for Regnum Kaya. They now are only 2 points away with that extra placement. The res came through, but no, instant re-knock coming on through. Besiktas bearing down upon them as Savian fully flushed away now. Scarface as well. Ulfa down to 2 in the midst of it all, but we're back on board with Falconist. Besiktas with 4 players looking to try and keep their pace up the tables, potentially challenge Kara.
I mean, for Ulf, it's not done yet. They still haven't got themselves into that position of Smash Point. They're 4 points shy. Regnum Kaya way, way more likely to make it happen. But you're right. Lots of damage being done. Papra Supermassive still on 7 elims. IWNRX likely next to fall here. Fenerbahce are eliminated. Weren't able to really get too much done that game. Only 1 point. But I think it's a monumental rise actually from Fenerbahce, from considering how they were doing over in the knockouts, the groups. Getting here to 5th place in the finals, I think that fans can be proud of this team.
Absolutely. It is very impressive what certainly they did in the last game. And now they're up in the 90s. But Kara in the hundreds already, broken that century. Silas! Oh, no. Spotted by Papra Supermassive. Of course, they only need 2 more points, Blank. One of them can come from, if a team goes out now, they get an extra placement point, right, for getting up to 6th. 5th place, at least, they are guaranteed to be on that Smash boundary, at least. Ulf need a little bit more. They want 2 elims, and then they'd be drawing level. But it is...
Yeah, I mean,
right now,
Silas,
Ulf guaranteed 131 with a placement.
I mean, Silas does get unlucky there. He runs into one of the best aimers in the lobby in Lost from Papa Supermassive. So making that kind of sweeping movement in the vehicle and a slight delay, yeah, that does definitely affect him. And Lost will pick up that immediately. Freedom Carrier continues to take damage though off in the distance there. And they're fully cut out of this next circle. Oh dear.
It's a tough turn of events.
Really not having Smash ruling going into match 4.
You never know. Maybe Kara could do it with this circle. I mean, you know, this would be very impressive. There's not too many points for them left to get in order to do it, but yeah, they might also join the 130s if they're lucky. Greg and Kaya, though, still needing 2 more points. We'll see if they can make their train work. The smoke train is out. There's the rundown over towards Swain. Papa Supermassive, 2 to a buggy, moving on out. IW interacts for another fight here as they roll up towards it. Kine, last soldier on the land, will try and make IW next Ruya's time a little bit more favorable. But Papa Supermassive now cut down to 2. Make that 1 because Kine is still on the tear. Looking for more, wants to bring out these flushes. They're taking them out, and another placement point would be huge for both of our teams at the top. Regnum and Kaya have taken a knock through the midst of it all as they try and make their break south. The blue zone is pushing. If Kine goes down and Papa Supermassive, Regnum Kaya would make it, but ultimately...
Lewis with the pistol takes down 1 from Regnum Kaya. Zedwolf is fully knocked, and Regnum Kaya are out in 7th and do not make the mark on 132.
Oh my goodness. We're up to 5th place now, though, Blank. We're getting close to the point where Ulf might just make it on placements. And look at their position, with Bashik just not daring to cross against Kara. Potentially, you get an elimination here. It could be the difference maker for Ulf.
Yeah, a little bit further to go on it. They're worried about moving, and Besiktas is similarly scared about pushing up over towards them. The nades are starting to flow through it, and I think actually Ulf's going down here. Yeah. Well, the nades go far. Oh, the little bit of chip damage gives them away.
I mean, they guarantee 3 points right now for placements, Blank, in 5th. If another team goes down, Blank, I think that's it. I think they've just broken the Smash boundary. They are over. Look, the scoreboards acknowledge it as well. They have managed to make it up into 4th place, and we will be having a team having that option available to them. Kara go for the rollout, and they give that Smash boundary break to Ulf.
That's going to take a lot of the weight off, I think. Now they can go back to playing exactly how they would normally. Okay.
We get a little zoom out there on the team to break the boundary. But we've got Besiktas. We've got Kara. Both in competition for 3rd, but if Kara stay really deep into this game, this is going to make 3rd place really difficult to achieve. They could go very, very far here. Do a lot of work. Can Besiktas take them down early?
I mean, you're likely locking things in if Kara's able to get a chicken dinner here, and it will be the 3rd chicken dinner for Kara on Erangel, stamping this as the team with the most successful. Over on the side of Erangel, able to find 1, but another buggy is too much. Both players from Ulf get squished underneath the tires, and now Besiktas can start taking down Asgard.
They went as far as they needed to go for Ulf, exactly where they needed to find themselves, and they didn't need to go any further. Get set for the next game because they got an Erangel to play. Now the joust over the hills. Besiktas scrapping it out here as 3 teams remain, and Kara's just observing this from a distance. A bloodbath before them, and they're all too happy to let this one go in. They've got oversight onto a lot of it. It's a full front-to-back fight between these 2 rosters. Sequester behind the hilltops. The stage 9 circles close. Besiktas fall. Asgard the last to go. This was, I mean, only 2 players there. Kara just going to be able to close this one down. Surely there's no way that they get slipped on this.
Yeah, this is a really easy finish, especially with the MG3 in hands, but might not even be necessary. Kara looked to finish this one off, and that they do. Kara cementing 3rd place a little bit more as we head in towards our 4th game of the day. Last match on Erangel, last match of being able to get a pretty reliable chicken dinner. Miramar, it's a bit more difficult. A lot of times, if the circle moves too far away from you, it is a luck of the draw there. For Erangel, anyone can make that win, in my opinion.
I wonder how many of the Cara fans have been booking their plane tickets after that game over towards Thailand. Hit the crowd stands there, see if they can help on out. Although I think that would need Cara to actually get to the finals as well, which is no mean feat. But in the gauntlet, that's a hell of a lot easier. Right now, they're looking pretty set.
Cara able to place another one on the board for themselves here. Third one of the entire finals, which is really cool to see. But wouldn't matter if they got another one on the next match. It just wouldn't, because they are not in. They've not made the distance. They have not made the distance. And I think for Ulf, now is the time to show us that chicken, right? It's time to get that win. Show me the chicken dinner, because they don't really have any worries anymore. They don't have to worry about slowly playing things out. That's not their playstyle. It's never been their playstyle. Their playstyle has been very aggressive. And I think that Aaron's been chomping at the bit to get a bit more freaky with it in these finals.
Yeah, had to move that placard back over. Cara, a little bit inaccurate on their placement, but it will be on the board for match 15 there, earning themselves that third chicken dinner accolade, as you said. Yeah, Ulf looking for the chicken dinner as we make our slower approach. We've got one more Erangel still to play after this one, and then we head over to Miramar if Ulf don't win it. That's what we're going to be looking for.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so interested to see what this circle does, right? Because that will really change it. That will really change things up based on how accessible it is for Ulf.
I think for Ulf overall, there was this feeling that they just couldn't play to their maximum potential. And I think now more than ever, they have to start figuring out where these points are going to be coming from, because they can no longer really afford to allow Regnum Kaya to be jostling between them being second and first all the time, with Cara now hot on the heels as well after a big game like that on Erangel. Yeah, I don't think first is guaranteed anymore. I felt guaranteed finishing off yesterday, where they were so far ahead. Like, it was hard to catch up to them. But with after Regnum Kaya's big chicken dinner on Rondo, yeah, it's not easy anymore.
What is very likely is that Regnum Kaya get over the smash boundary in this next game, right? I think it's like 1 or 2 points that they're going to need in this next match. So if Ulf don't win it, it's super likely that we're going to see a 2-horse race going into our Miramar sets on that front. Not to mention Cara also, you know, they might not have gone the distance in that last game. They could also join them with a big game here, and they are strong on Erangel.
Very much so. I think that for Cara, at least as well, they are typically a very, very good Erangel team. Could shoot up further. I don't think Ulf is bad at Erangel at all. I think that, like I said, they have just been lacking confidence massively to make these games happen. Regnum Kaya, though, their rotates have been good. That last game looked decent. It's such a shame that Regnum Kaya isn't able to get over the smash point rule going into match 4, because this is the last time they'll play Erangel, which is a map that they're very, very good at, yet they won't be able to clinch the game out. The only team that has that possibility will be Ulf going forward now. Maybe that'll change next match, but we'll wait and see.
Hey, just to remind you guys at home, if you just tuned in, the smash rule is in effect. We had a smash boundary set at the start of today. That was 134 points in that last game. We just saw Ulf achieving that metric. They got, actually, I think bang on the nose, 134 points. They didn't get 1 point more because technically they didn't need to. They are now in the area where they can win a game and immediately end and win the tournament. If they get a chicken dinner from here on out, the tournament's over. And they will be crowned as the champions of this season and get that qualification spot to the gauntlet at PMGC, which is that all-important prize for our top 3 teams who end up in the podium.
Yeah. Bloody good stuff from Cara. TMB, on the other hand, terrible. Really quite bad.
Yeah,
Was not
that was-
entirely sure what was going on with them. I think that they thought the circle was on Sosnovka. That's the only thing I can think of, is that they had like a mind meltdown where they were hallucinating circles of where they might be and where they weren't.
It was like, this is for sure that other day when we won from this spot, right? That's exactly where the circle is right now. That's what they were thinking. That what's going through their minds.
I'm curious to know. I think
Because
we're going to
otherwise-
the stage at some point, but I don't know when.
We might do.
Could be sometime soon.
Might not
Actually,
be.
no,
I
it
mean,
might be. I think it's just break. I think it's break after this.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think we've seen the rankings.
But we gotta look at the rankings and etc. first.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any of the stats so far from that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've still got to go through all of those.
But we will be waiting for them in the meantime. How is your day going, guys? Oh, there's a replay.
Oh, of the final blow. And you can see there just the shutdown. And I mean, yeah, that was a very easy rollout for Kara. Exactly right. But it was Asgard to take the MVP title with Real, getting 5 elims, 767 damage. It's not the most. It's not the most we've ever seen on an MVP card, but still very respectable.
Yeah, it's tough circle though. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for fighting, and whenever fighting came down, it was a case of you getting moved out into horrendous locations of the match, of the map. Sorry. We'll be going into our match statistics next. See who's got the most elims, the most grenades, who ran the furthest. It's one of the main ones we want to look out for. But it is Navarro with 2 nades.
Yekta. Wow, so far. 2 nades, Novallo. Poser, 805. All on Kara for the top of the tables there, but actually it was Asgard who got the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, if you put Marceau and Poser together, almost not quite as good as Real. Almost not quite as good. But you can see here, it's very indicative of the map and the circle, with Spike only getting the most distance at 309. There really weren't a lot of long-range engagements that you could go for on that map. We're going to take a look next at the team statistics from Kara, who was doing the most there. And it's a lot of them, realistically. That's a nice spread in terms of damage from where they were playing. Really good proactive nature from the squad, totaling up to 12 elims on the game, so a nice 22-point match, which I think puts them in the 100 teens after that one.
I think they've just broken 120. I think they were on 199. 99 at the start of this game, I believe. And with 22, I think they're on 121. I'd have to double check though.
I believe you.
As we head back to us. I'm banking on 121. So they're within striking distance. That's 13 points behind the bubble, behind the boundary. We'll see if they can do it. But let's head to the stage for a quick check-in.
King'den bir tane daha mükemmel bir hediye var. Marshall kulaklık arkadaşlar. Bu kulaklığı kime armağan edeceğiz biliyor musunuz?
Whose birthday is it today?
Bugün kimin doğum günü? Bunu ispatlayan varsa hemen buraya kimlik kartıyla gelebilir. Kimlik kartıyla birlikte buraya doğum günü olan güvenlik arkadaşlarımıza göstererek gelebilir. Ama seyircilerimizin içinden olması gerekiyor. Personelden olmaması gerekiyor. Tamamen seyircilerimizden. Bugün kimin doğum günü? Var mı doğum günü olan ispatlayabilecek kimlik kartıyla?
So we have quite a lot of prizes. I see someone in green over there.
Gel doğum günüse gel. Kimlik kartınla gel. Kimlik kartınla gel.
Is it your birthday today? We need to confirm. We'll give you this lovely prize, the Marshall headset, and I believe we also have some other goodies in the bag.
Bugün doğum günü olan sanıyorum yok. Var mı? Kimlik kartını gösteren gelebilir. Yok.
No? Okay.
Bazen şöyle yapıyorlar. Benim diyorlar. Kimlik deyince when I ask them where is your ID card?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think a 7-year-old is gonna have an ID card. He's like, yay, hi. I don't think so.
Kimlik kartınızı ispatlamanız gerekiyor arkadaşlar. O zaman yine de dün doğum günü olan var mıydı dün?
This week. Anyone's
Yarın doğum günü
birthday
olan
this
var mı?
week?
Yarın doğum günü olan var mı? Kimlik kartıyla gelebilir.
Yesterday?
Dün ya da yarın doğum günü olan.
Did we not have someone whose birthday was yesterday?
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow.
Or tomorrow, okay. Yesterday, tomorrow. Anyone's birthday that you can show us. It was yesterday or
Kimlik
tomorrow.
kartıyla ispat
Where?
edebilen gelsin. Hemen gel.
Okay. Oh,
İşte
wait.
geliyor.
We might have one. Hold on.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yetişemezsen başkasını çağıracak. Hah.
1 second while we confirm.
Yarın eğer doğum günüyse Marshall kulaklık onun doğum günü hediyesi olacak Burger King'den arkadaşlar.
Okay, we are still trying. Oh, hold on. We have the ID. Yeah. 27th of October. That's tomorrow. That's tomorrow.
27'si yarın mıydı arkadaşlar? Evet yarındı doğru. İşte kazanıyor.
Well, that was only our first prize.
Gel.
Wait.
İsmin neydi? Sefa'ya doğum günü. Happy birthday.
No. Listen, we're not gonna do this. No. Okay, that's our first prize, but I believe we still have some more.
Evet sevgili arkadaşlar. Gerçekten çok karnı acıkan doğum günü bir dakika. Sen.
So, at this moment as well, while Bill Gihan hands out our Burger King coupons, I would like to invite our content creator from Kara Esports to join me on the stage. How are you, brother? So, I'm gonna make it simple. We have to give away mouse pads. Okay, so I will let you choose 3 people. 3. Why? 3. 6. I only have 5.
Okay, bye.
Okay, so I mean, first of all, congratulations for a Kara chicken dinner. But who do you want to give mousepad to?
5 gifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Pick. Start from there.
Tamam ben seçiyorum. İyice sürümde kaldım. Şurada küçük bir kardeşimiz var, şurada. Galiba kız. Bir kız çocuğumuz var, onu tespit etti Bural. Kara fena gidiyor ha.
Efendim?
Kara fena gidiyor.
Allah'a şükür çok çalıştık. Umarım bir kaza yaşanmazsa olacak.
Did you choose your first one? Did you choose one over there?
Yeah.
Okay, so now in the Kara corner, pick one.
Here, okay.
Which one?
I pick
Actually, for Kara, can I recommend one for you?
Okay.
Can I choose for you? Where is he? Yes. Biggest Kara fan I've seen. Him. Okay? Okay.
No problem. But I pick here.
You pick them.
Okay. It's 2, it's 3, okay.
Biraz hızlandıralım, oraya yakın gidip seçebilirsin.
Tamam.
Yakın gidip seçebilirsin.
Şurada, şu. Evet sen. Işıktan çok göremiyorum. Gerçekten çok az görebiliyorum. Şundan. Silüet gibi görüyorum.
Okay, I believe we have chosen 3. 2 more. Okay, wait. Okay, do you mind if I choose one more? One. Yes. S2G.
No, 2 more.
2 more?
Yeah,
Okay.
2 more. One here.
Okay. I want to give him one, and then you choose over there.
Şu kardeşimiz, evet şu.
Okay, which one do you want?
Şiş.
Okay, he chose you, so you get the reward. I mean, look, he picked you, so it's not my choice.
Evet.
Okay, one more on that side.
Last one. True.
Yes.
İki elini kaldıran STG formalı bir kardeşimiz var. İki elini kaldırıyor.
S2G fan.
Yeah.
I see him right there. Okay. Yes, you with both your hands up. I believe that choice has been made. All right. Well, that's 5 mouse pads. And just to show you guys what the mouse pad looks like.
Arkadaşlar mousepad var. X-Vega'dan mükemmel bir mousepad. Sadece mousepad adıyla da değerlendirmemek lazım. Klavye ve Mouse için mükemmel. Ucu yok mu? Evet. 5 arkadaşımıza daha seçiyoruz.
5 tane daha mı?
Evet.
Tamam. O zaman yine oradan bir tane oradan bir tane yapalım. Tamam. Şurada beyazlı bir kardeşimiz hemen o. O evet o. İkinciye geçtim. Yine orada bir beyazlı kardeşimiz daha var o.
Mutlaka bir tane karadan seçiyorum değil mi?
Burayı hiç görmüyorum. Samanyolu gibi burası. Şu. Evet sen. Sen orada beyaz.
One more? All right, one more it is.
Şu elinde ışık sallıyor şu an. Elinde ışık. Evet.
Tamam.
Last one.
Last, sure. I mean, I don't know where from. That was the last one.
Listen.
We have more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, that was mouse pads. Now we're talking about hats and socks. So there's a difference.
Okay.
Evet. Yönetmenim uyarıyor. Tamamlanmış. Teşekkürler arkadaşlar. Hediye yağmuru yine devam edecektir mutlaka. Sizleri seviyoruz. PUBG Mobile'de Avrupa Şampiyonası tam gaz devam ediyor.
Teşekkürler. To the games.
There we go. Dishing out the prizes to the audience. Of course, the main prizes that we're giving out will happen later today when, well, we can't say, but it might be after this next match. Ulf could close it down here without ever seeing the desert as they have the opportunity to go for a smash rule victory from match 4 onwards. We are now into the danger zone for everybody, which also means that everybody else needs to put as many points on the board as possible.
Absolutely, because if you want to get towards that top 3 to go towards the gauntlet, there is still an absolute chance that this doesn't end until Miramar, the final one, in which case you have a big goal ahead of you to get towards that top 3. Falcons falling behind, but they probably made it through via their Western European points anyway in terms of the PMGC rankings. But money's on the line here for a lot of these teams. They absolutely do want to pump out highlights from Kara that game, who were able to do very well towards the end there. But yeah, not an easy part of the map to play at all, Joe.
No, it was that open area around the farm positions. I mean, even Regnum Kaya towards the end, I mean, they had the tower, sure, but they had to lay real low. And in the end, weren't quite able to get the 6 points they needed. Instead, they only got 7 points, I think they needed. They only got the 5. Ulf did, though, manage to get the 6 points that they needed and cross that smash boundary. So still in first place, but only by a hair. However, does give them an opportunity no one else has, that smash victory. Kara with 22, though, and that should see them up to 121 points and within striking distance of breaking that smash boundary as well. So them and Regnum Kaya both have that opportunity afforded to them. The teams just beneath them weren't quite so lucky. I'm looking at Falcons here, not really able to keep pace, as well as Jetgo. 0 points on that game blank. This is a really nice breath of fresh air for Kara in terms of that space now in third place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the main thing, is just the space gained by picking up those 22 points is a really big deal for them, and require teams to really push hard now. Because again, you have a situation where, like you say, if Ulf is able to end it in the next couple of games, Kara's got a big distance between them and 4th place now. It requires Besiktas and Team Falcons to have chicken dinners in the next couple of games, and then a little bit more after that, because these are not small games that Team Falcons, as well as Besiktas, as I suppose Asgard as well, need to get. I mean, all the way down to Czechko. I mean, all 6 of these teams have a chance, but only one of them can grab it.
Yeah, I mean, 93 points there. And remember, 4th and potentially even 5th place are pretty crucial placings as well. If you want to get to PMGC, the opportunity is there to potentially, in 5th place, depending on how the Falcons do, get yourself a league stage spot into that tournament. So 93 was where we cut off that first page. We're now on 89 with Papara Supermassive. So they're also, I mean, still in the running for those 4th, 5th place spots to try and jump on up there. And in fact, probably at this stage with 3 matches left, all the way down to Bra. I think from Anorthosis down, that's where it started to get close to impossible.
Yeah, because I mean, 75 points may seem good, but you just lack the games to do it in. Like, for instance, if we had 12 matches, that's 12 matches of chances for Anathosis to hit 3 big games, you only have 3 games left. So it's just there's not a potential there for them. It's super tough. Very, very tough to make happen now.
Yeah, it's going to be real difficult. And again, the noisy boys. Oh, well. S2G, the big story. The double chicken dinner that they've had so far, not even reaching the placement points of Anathosis